Here in Paisley's multi-purpose, wonderful new venue, RocknRollas, with the owner, Mr. Bob Williamson. Hello, Bob.
Hey there, Thomas. One of the owners just before somebody complains.
Yes, sorry, one of the owners. Aye, we've got to keep it right, pal. We've got to keep it right. I've known Bob for a good few years, and I thought I know a lot about him, but maybe you don't. So I thought we'd get him sat down here in this venue and we've got a wee chat. How you doing, pal? You alright?
I'm doing fine. This could be scary.
It could be scary. It could be. If there's no tears and snorters, I'm not going to be happy.
I'm like sometimes it's some of the stories are sad, some of them are funny, some of them we can't even hear.
Well, that's it. Well, we know about the ones. We're going to keep them keep it well away from the ones. So, first of all, just growing up, you're an Ayrshire man, aren't you? Tell us a wee bit about growing up.
Deep as darkest Ayrshire. I was born and bred in an old mining town, mining village, Crooked Home. Everybody says outskirts of Kilmarnock. It's Kilmarnock.
It's Kilmarnock, aye.
But in reality, the main road to go through is London Road and Crooked Home's in that, on that road. So when you see it from the main road, it's just a village. But behind it's just all fields and farms. It was a country upbringing more than anything else. So yeah, I was born there in 1969.
1969.
Yeah, youngest of seven.
70s?
Three brothers, three sisters. I've only got two brothers, as you know, from Jen passed a couple of years ago. So
that's right.
Yeah, so 7 years. But it was a busy childhood.
Busy? Happy?
It was at different times. Tommy, really, to be honest with you. I mean, if you did something wrong, you got a crack in the lug.
Don't I know it? Don't I know it?
And to be honest with you, it didn't do me any harm. I didn't learn.
No.
But it didn't do me any harm.
Never.
It was a kind of strange childhood for me, Tommy, because a lot of people that obviously know me know, but people who are probably watching this don't. I was went to go to primary school, the great life, and without getting into the length and breadth, but stayed when I probably was about 10, 11. I stayed with another family.
Right.
I won't get into there was nothing before anybody starts going, it just happened. It's the best way to explain it happened. And I stayed with them until I was 17.
Right.
And the kind of sad part of it was, although I saw my brothers and sisters, it was a kind of, my mum and dad split up when we were quite young, and formed other relationships, whatever way you want to look at it. But
which is very normal nowadays.
It's normal. Back then it was a bit tougher because there wasn't much money about.
No.
We can't turn around and talk about the bleakness about being poor and things like that.
We all were.
It was and we were in a mining village. It wasn't. You didn't think about it that way as much because everybody, didn't matter what you had. Everybody went out in the middle park and played football. Yeah. So whether you were on your bare feet, old trainers, socks, or brand new football boots, everybody played the game or ran about. But we were quite fortunate in one way. There wasn't much discipline in terms of being in at night and being from a very young age. I must admit back. My big sister Helen, she was a kind of mother. It's probably fair to say, and she kind of brought everybody up. Well, brought everybody up from her down. I mean, my two older brothers, my older brother Philip, he joined the army. He had to join the army. We won't get into too much detail of that. He joined the army, but he retired the regiment as Sergeant Major, so it was the right thing for him. Well, I think that's
making him.
Made him. And my second older brother was James. We were very, very close to. But we went out stealing potatoes at farmers' fields. At 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night when other kids are in their bed. And I was a 7-year-old, I think this was an adventure. And it was,
but it was.
The thing about it is, people go, that can't, because they look at today's kids.
It was definitely a different one.
It wasn't back then. I'm not saying it was normal, but to me, I'm 7-year-old, 12 o'clock at night in a farmer's field. Well, if I'm going to be truthful, my sisters would not put the potatoes in the baskets and I'd take them in their basket, put in my basket. I've never been great for hard work.
No, we know that.
I like to reward, so it was a kind of you were sheltered by a lot then. You were sheltered by a lot of deprivation, that was everywhere. You were sheltered with it because nobody really had anything.
Yeah.
So you were out and about, if you got a bike, maybe second hand at times. You know, the kids had new bikes, but nobody said, oh, I've got a brand new one and that was a second hand one.
So we've gone out on the bikes, that's what it's like in that place.
The difference then, now,
and if you didn't, you ran behind them.
Well, that's it, I pushed it and waited to fall off and then off you went and let them try and catch you. But the one thing I'm saying is back then, the focus was on feeding the kids. You know, where there's now, feeding the kids before presents. Where now, for me, it's the opposite. People much rather have material things and worry about what's on the kids. You know, I'm big, like I get sentimental when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
And the rather the kids went hungry, but as long as they can go to school with a brand new trainers.
Yeah.
Not everyone, so I don't want everyone sitting there phoning in. But, you know what I'm saying? The things have changed. People's priorities have changed. And it's, for me, it's just television, it's social media. It pushes it. I mean, it pushes the boundaries of everything now.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
It is, and you know what? It's up to them. But for me, you know, I'd much rather know my kids have got something in their belly than a brand new pair of trainers. Yeah. So, if you cook at home, when Stanley went to stay with another family, just basically next village, stayed with them until I was 17, and then I moved down to England for a year, myself as a 17-year-old, down to England, to Newton Aycliffe. I was relations of the family I stayed with in Horford, stayed down there, and I was down there for a year, and I was doing exceptionally well as a 17-year-old, and I was working for Fine Fair, and I was made a Twilight manager at 17, but I come back, I didn't make a big mistake at the time, but I felt a big mistake, but I wouldn't have had now if I didn't. I came back up the road for a weekend and didn't go back.
Well, there you go.
So, you know, that's where possibly life would have changed, but I wouldn't have had that.
It's sliding doors.
That's
the way I look at it. If you turned left instead of turning right, the life would be completely different.
My wife says all the time, innit?
Wish you'd turned left.
I wish you'd just stayed there. Trust me. No, I just turn around and tell them and say, well, what's 40 won't get by? I actually hate that saying, but it's probably so,
it is what it is.
That's what it is. It's probably correct. But at the school we stayed in, we went to Crooked Primary. Honestly, Tommy, it was a country school. Do you know what I mean? There was very little pupils. There was seven, primary 1 to primary 7, but it was like 4 classes. You know, we shared a lot. But it was a community school. You everybody knew everybody. There's not 5 foot of snow.
Get to the school.
No, the boiler's off, put a jacket on. Do you know what I mean? There was none of this, you know, all shut for 3 weeks because the water's not warm enough. There's nothing like that. No. But what we had it was a great primary school, I must admit. It was I loved it. And it's basically then when sort of music, probably primary 6, primary 7. Yeah,
I was just going to come on to that. How did music come into your life? Who introduced you to the wonderful world of music? How did that happen?
The strange thing, and this is the thing, Crooked Home used to have everybody did a fair. Do you know, so one of the prizes was from the DJ at the time was a couple of 7-inch finals. Who can bring the heaviest bag of rubbish back to clean them up? You know what I mean? So,
clever.
I'm running about putting a couple of crisp bags in boulders. I can remember.
Once again, don't do the work but win the prizes.
I can picture it. I can still remember. It was funny. I'd have been probably 8 or 9, and I took it back. And the guy just laughed because he knew, you know, he could hear the Chinese at it. So he gave me 2 singles. I had a clue. Obviously, at that time, television that was dominated by the parents. You didn't get a chance.
Definitely.
But I had older siblings. They were right. Well, had done music what we want. And the funny thing was the record. One of the records was Elvis Return to Centre. Right. And the other one was. Let me get this right, because I keep getting it wrong. Substitute, but not the Who. Right. The other one. The other one. You know, the kind of 70s. Aye. Right. So that was up to. And I put on Substitute, and it was a frisbee. after that, and then I put on Elvis. And from that day, You know,
the world changed.
Well, the world changed for me in terms of music. I listened to it constantly when my sister wasn't in. It was so big up there. And I think I was 7 when I got my first. Primary, no, I'd have been 7. I was about 8 or 9 when I got my first album bought for me at Christmas, which was punk. Strangely enough, it was punk. Can't remember, it was a hits album. But Billy Idol, the
Generation X.
Generation X was on it, Blondie was on it, that sort of thing. And again, I wasn't really caring, so I was listening to it. And then Shabadi Wadi. And we still...
We're dragging them all out the night.
I
was hoping you were going to come on and Shabadi Wadi and Elvis.
One of my favourite bands of all time. And it's in the car, the CD's in the car just now. I'm playing it. So basically, when I went to stay with the other family, the daughter there, she's a lot older than I was, obviously, they were working. The daughter there was really into Elvis, and she had all the albums and all that, and she was a fanatic about it. And so
usually find they are. Elvis fans are usually fanatic.
Well, that's the thing, right? So obviously, my collection, I boasted about the collection of Elvis records I had, but actually none of it all was.
Yep.
But
they were in the house.
Well,
what was in the house is yours.
She had played them. I played them all the time. Downstairs, I played them all the time. So you get, by this time it's 78, 79, and people get a wee bit of misdirection for me thinking I was an odd or and that's totally not true. And some of the people...
No, we've seen you dressed, you know you're not an odd.
It's not what I was, I was into the jam, I liked the jam, but I loved 60s music, so it depends how you looked at the mod scene and what was
Exactly.
We grew up in the mod revival, but we were actually, at the primary school, we were actually rockabilly. It was Matchbox, the Jets, do you know what I mean? But that's the kind of school it was. You say, well, it was behind the times. It probably was behind the times, but we got some cracking music. Do you know what I mean? Stray Cats. Our Christmas show was Matchbox, dancing to Matchbox, things like that. So I've always had a soft spot for rockabilly. Yeah. Always had it, and it probably comes from the Elvis days. Yeah. That's how I started getting into music. I was very, very young. Yeah. I was very young. And at that time, there was nothing really else to do. If you weren't out in the winter, okay, you were out building slides or whatever, but you were in there at night, so I just listened to music constantly. Yeah. So that's how I got into it, was just the first picking up. An Elvis single. An Elvis single, and I got right into it.
There you go. Yeah. And we're still collecting them to this day. We'll get into that later. We'll definitely get into that later. So, school days, you touched on you went down to England and then you come back up. What happened once you come back up the road for England? I take it you might love your life, or not that time?
Not straight away, not straight away.
So what kept you back up the road then?
I had never... I came back up and went back over to Cook at Home. More than... I'm back in with my family, my family. My brother's 13 months older than me, something like that. So we're all about, and I hadn't seen my school friends for a long time. So I think it was more that I came back at 17 and went to a local pub, which I later owned with my brothers, and got in and get served. And the kid used to go and try and get dad out of it. So you're in there thinking, oh, this is where I really want to be.
This is cool. This is where I want to be.
This is where I want to be. So they moved back, and it was at that time. I think I was 18, just over 18, and work was hard to come by then. Yeah. That was way back.
I remember.
Schemes and all sorts. I was buying and selling cars at 15. I was working. I had hundreds of jobs, not too many manual jobs, but hundreds of jobs.
Moving things on for getting somebody else to do it.
Yeah, buying and selling stuff. I was doing something even for a very young age. Some people say I had more money then than I did. I had more spare cash then than I did now. So when I moved back up, it was a couple of years of doing some back and forth jobs, and then I went out to work for my brother Jim in the landfill site, picking papers out of cow shit.
Yes.
That's how I explain to people when people say I would never. What? If you pick papers out of cow shit, you'll do anything. The wind blew all the papers out of them, so you had to go out there, adjacent fields and clean up. That was the job. Paid casual, I don't care, anybody could listen. But it was a great time, Tony, because you were healthy, you were fit, the weather was either pissing it in, snowing, or sun is splitting trees.
Yeah.
So, but I probably spent more money in batteries for my Sony Walkman than I did earn, because you always walking about and then strange enough, the story.
This is a sign of the times, the Sony Walkman.
A Sony Walkman, that's when I first heard.
Was it a Sony or was it a...
No, it was a Sony.
Was definitely a Sony.
One of the cheap ones, no, it was one of the cheap ones. I don't know where I got it, but it wasn't one of the cheap ones. But that's when I was introduced to Spear of Destiny. So I bought the Outlands tape.
Tape? Well, that's what it was. But the choice of vinyl or tape, you take a tape run about you, or an album run about you, it's a tape.
Yeah, it was great times. I mean, it's not. So a good few years of that part, what I eventually did, I got my sort of act together a little bit, and I was 19, 20. I suppose you can't really tell any story about without going over my health.
Yes.
My health must have been all in my family, people I grew up with knew that one of the reasons I limp was I had Perseus as a kid when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I was in hospital for a year.
Yeah.
You know, one taped up with a bar between your legs and weights on it to stretch one leg, and then how far science has moved on now, do you know what I mean? So I was in there for a year as a kid, but back then it was an adventure. I could 3 square meals a day and hot bed, and it was great, you know. I can still remember.
Somebody looked after you.
Yeah, somebody here and never running about. So that my whole health didn't stop there, you know. So we were asking where I met my good lady Jackie was. Well, Jackie was actually going with one of my friends, and they split up, and we got together. But before I met Jackie, I went on holiday to Cabos with the boys. First time I've been abroad. I've been abroad. It's absolutely proud holiday. And then I come back, and I was only 2 months back, and I started feeling unwell. I thought I was running down, because at this time I was doing the doors.
Yeah.
I was steward at the doors with Big Gordon Finlay down here. I was doing the doors, and it was Gordon came to pick me up on Friday, take me from my shift, and he looked at me and said, "Don't look well." I said, "I don't feel great, big man." And he said to me, "So you better go back, just somebody else would come for one of the other doors to work with me." And I went to my bed, Tommy, and honestly, I don't listen to anyone. Over the next 5 days, and countless call-out doctors, and getting weaker and weaker, to the point of time we got to the toilet, you know, so peeing in bottles, my mum's come through with bottles, and peeing in bottles, until my brother Jim again came down, because he thought I was skiving off work.
Come on, you get your work.
He's just not the work doing it. And he come storming in thinking, but then he came in and took a look at me lying in the bed. I mean, I was just a bag of washing. You know, I was comfort, I couldn't move. I could move my arms, move my feet, but I couldn't get up. So he phoned my doctor, and I can remember, I can still picture the time. I could hear him through the doors saying, "Listen," and I heard him say, "Listen, I don't care what you say. My brother is really ill. You need to come out here and see him right now." So the doctor came out, I can't remember her name. She came out, and within half an hour I was in an ambulance. And I was in 5 hospitals in one day.
Right.
5 hospitals in one day, until I ended up at the Royal.
Right.
The Royal in intensive care. And it transpired I had contracted Guillain-Barré disease.
Right.
So if anybody that knows the Celtic player Morton Weghorst, he got a very, very mild strain of that. I was the second. The way to explain it was the one higher than I had was potentially dead. Right? Yeah. So I was lucky and fortunate in that aspect. However, it floored me. And when I say it floored me, I was in a hospital for another year.
Right.
I was paralysed from the neck. I was paralysed full body. I could move my fingers, I could move my toes, I could move my head, couldn't sit up, couldn't move my arms up, couldn't go to the toilet, couldn't do anything, right? So everybody says, "How come you got such an outlook?" Like, see when you get people cleaning you.
Aye.
You know, you lose all dignity. Dignity goes out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very quickly you realise you start to feel for the nurses and that people at work, and that's why I've got a passion for trying to you know, sticking up for nurses, and you know, they don't get paid enough.
No, indeed they do not.
They don't get paid enough. And,
nowhere near.
You know, they see death, they see birth, they see things that I had. So, I mean, I was a year Tommy, and you look at me now, a fine figure of a man. You know, figure being a figure eight. But you know, when at the lowest point there, I was down to 9 stone.
Right.
So, what you know scared us was that they had this thing in hospital. They strapped you to a bed and tipped you up so you could look in the mirror.
Right.
And there was bone. For me, I boxed all my days.
Yeah.
I was fat. You've all seen the picture of my speedos.
Well, wasn't
a bit of fat on me at all. You know, I was fat. So to see bones there, it was horrifying. Horrifying. So I went through probably from that point it was another 6 months in Chris House Hospital, and I met a lot of great people in there. You're in there that long and stuff. But when I got out, I was still another 5-6 months before I could take up any active duties back at my work, and I was another 6 months to a year after that before I could walk. Like, you know, still in, but I could walk anywhere, I could run, I could go and play football. So it was 2.5 years of my life, Tommy, and through being paralysed, and it's all down to being floored with the cold and still going out in the rain. And it attacked the immune system, and that's what floored me. That's why I'm always keen on a kid's padgett on you. Because I didn't care. You know,
we're not the same.
Who did?
We're the same, but luckily enough, somebody didn't get you
going.
No,
we didn't. There's one in every 500,000 people or something like that.
There you go.
Affected with it at some point. Some special in all the wrong ways.
You couldn't even be 1 in a million, could you? 1 in half a million.
So, yeah, that was not that one, which added to a later complication as I got older. And I lost a kidney. And the funny thing about that is dates always mean something. I was getting my kidney taken out my first wedding anniversary.
There you go.
I was in the hospital with my kidney out the day of my first wedding anniversary.
So you couldn't even gear in it.
Couldn't even get my kidney. I need to go that one.
It's not used to you.
I hope you like it. So, and again, it was another 5-6 months recovering for that. So it's been a lot of times, you know, a few years ago, I was rushed in.
That's right.
But you've got
worrying times.
So it was, but you've got to keep a positive attitude. You think you can.
You're still here.
You're still people worse off, and at times you turn and say, well, where are they? But people worse off. Music, that's when you go back to music, because music carries you through a lot. I don't care what anybody says or say. If it wasn't for it, I wouldn't have met a lot of people.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have
fell out with a lot of people.
There is that.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's take a second. Let's just check.
You'll edit it.
Huh?
You'll edit it.
I know, but I was just checking we're still recording. I'll take that back.
That's for all the ladies thinks the Diet Coke advert.
Aye, Diet Coke time. So, health-wise, you're okay now? You're fit, healthy, and well?
Actually, no.
No.
I'm in need of a hip replacement.
Right.
Well, it's a backlog.
There's a backlog in everything.
I'm looking to go private with it because I've struggled through it. And also I lose a bit of weight. I don't have to, but I want to lose a bit of weight before I go for the operation. But I struggle through it, and now sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. It's
not nice. It's not nice.
And it's time to do something about it. I tried to hold off as long as I could, because if I go to the toilet, I need another one hopefully before I die.
Aye, touch wood. Touch wood.
So I've tried to hold off. So I need that. Apart from that, Tommy, the only downside to the high blood pressure and that is people probably don't say that, but I loved walking. I wouldn't have gone hills and that.
No.
Don't say that.
Walk a flat.
We did them in Monroe.
Well done.
Yeah, good for you.
See you Monroe baggers. Fair play to you. Just keep sending us the pictures so we can see the views.
Don't ask me to join you, it's not happening. We did my pal Corey did the West Highland Omega Lows. Well,
it's a path.
Mate, we were doing 12-mile stretch, we ended up doing 24. because we got lost. We got lost. We're walking and then we end up on the main road. And I said to him,
This isn't right.
I've never done like West Highland Way, but I'm pretty sure it's all.
It's a path.
He's like, no, it's no. No, it's no. The worst thing about it is we take a piece of me. First 20 minutes after gone. So there's no shops.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. It's pissing at rain. He's getting booted all up in the street for me. Yeah, useless. You go on a straight road, you get as lowest. No, but I love walking. I love walking on holiday. I love just going to walk. I don't like lying in the pool. So
no, I'm the same as you. I'm no one for that.
It's only downside to the hip and that, because I can't do it.
Aye.
I can go a wee bit and then I'm out of breath because I'm putting too much emphasis on trying to keep one leg stronger than another.
Yeah.
But we'll rectify that. It's not the end of the world. We'll rectify it.
Good. Good. We touched on your good lady. You're a family man. Your family mean a lot to you. Not just the family we're talking about as well, but your wife, your kids. Your family as a whole, I suppose.
See the way I look at it is like, I wouldn't have gone through a lot of dark places if they weren't there. I've got my wife Jackie, she's probably a fucking lot. I know she did. I see people say deserves a medal.
I only see you here and I'm put up there lots of God knows what she's put up with.
People say she deserves a medal. I'm like, you don't know how much. You know what I mean? But she's been the backbone of the family. Do you know what I mean? But Jesus, Dolly, she moans. But she moans at the kids all the time, but then goes and does it. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Moans about leaving it, then she'll go and do it.
But that's what a mammy does.
What are you doing it for? If I don't do it, nobody will do it. They know that, that's why.
That's what they let you get.
I'm
not getting involved in that conversation.
My son George, 25, and a daughter Lauren, who's turning 21 this year. And her and her mum, Jesus, the bicker of hell. But no, I'm nothing comes before them.
No.
And that's just a fact, nothing comes before them. The hours and everything I put in, that, people forget. I'm not going to talk about daytime job because that's not what this is about.
Aye.
But the hours I put in, constantly 7 days a week, it's all to get us back to where we were, or as close to where we were before I had the problems. We won't really talk about them too much, but the problems I had where we lost everything. And it was actually through no fault of any of us. It was a circumstances, a situation we were in, and through the actions of others.
Yes.
Shall we say. And that's when I went down, spiraled our way down. And then Jackie kept me living. I'm going to be honest with you, she kept us living because, when you lose a lot of stuff that you had, and when you lose a lot of stuff, you feel...
A lot of stuff you get to get rid of as well, right?
Well, we try to keep all that for all the time.
I know. I think you're like me as well. I hold a lot of stuff because when we were growing up, don't get me wrong, my mum and dad got me everything I wanted, but there was things that you want things, so see when you get things, you don't want to give them away.
No, you don't.
So it's like, it's why I'm getting, and you've got exactly the same. Rooms, and we mean rooms full of records. We just can't stop.
The difference between you and I, Tom, is yours is organised.
Almost.
Compared to me.
Compared to yours, mine is organised.
How many times have you heard me phoning up? Somebody stole my fucking...
Yes.
7 single, then, sorry, I found it. Because I have nothing. You and Edie, it's a good, he just laughs because everything is, I win it. I win life.
You do?
I win life, right?
To a point.
Well, I win a lot of things. I'll talk piss, tell people I know what I'm doing, and hopefully I know what I'm doing when it gets down there.
What you do is, what I've learned, not just you, but people in general, say, aye, and then go away and find out what I mean, and then sort it out. We all do that, and we get away with it. I mean, every time I come in here, I've not got a clue what I'm going to do, DJ-wise or whatever, when there's a band on and you go...
But that's what a DJ is. So we can talk about DJs, which we will do.
We will do, aye.
After these, but so...
Anyway, you were telling us about Jackie.
We met Jackie, married, quite quickly actually. I think about it, it wasn't even a shotgun wedding, I think she just... All of a sudden I was married.
Woke up one morning, how did that happen?
We married and we moved to a flat in New Farm. And it was a great, if we could have moved the flat to somewhere else, not in New Farm as such, But Newfound wasn't the best, but our block of flats was brilliant. And then we moved to Stuart, back to Stuart, where Jackie stayed. I was brought up. George came along, Lauren came along, we moved to a couple of houses in Stuart. So Josh is working away a car repair centre, JB Body Repairs in Glasgow. Lauren is in Sainsbury's with her mum, but she's at college for childcare.
Right.
That's all she's ever wanted to do. Proud of him, because he went to his HND in radio communications, so a wee bit disappointed. But he's probably, I thought he'd have moved on with that. What happened, right, so he didn't. And Lauren's doing what she's always wanted to do. So, and you know what? They're their own people. You know, they're laid back. You know, Lauren isn't. She's.
Josh is laid back. He's laid back. He's one of the nicest young men I've ever met. The only problem with your boy is he's supposed to come on.
Well, it's the only thing. He was happy the other week.
He was indeed. And that wasn't it.
He's football dad. He's Scotland dad. I'll tell you the command thing, right? I was left gobsmacked, right? Josh went to every single Rangers game with me. At home, sorry. He was a mascot in the European Cup night, everything. Right? And then he had every strip. Every strip they wanted. Right? And then Rangers were playing away, whatever it was, and it was, I think it was in secondary school, but he'd only be 12 or 13. He said, Dad, my pals are going to come on a game, I'm just going to go in with the ball. Never wore a Rangers strip after that.
Do you know what? I think that's great.
That's great.
I think that's great.
But a massive Rangers get beat, and I'm like, he was short up, staying this with some. I have a close relationship with Chris. Josh and me, but we've actually the same sense of humour. We terrorise him, to be fair. She gets terrorised. Because you know, you've heard of the Chuckle Sisters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Guys is watching this. I've not got enough time to explain some of the crackers, you know what I mean? But,
it's just it's every couple of days.
It's a statements and a half, and just be gone. Jesus. I spent half my time there together going, I can't believe they just said that. You know what I mean? But they come away with some crackers. They keep it going. They're very close, you know, they're very close. So, we've got a family life, and there's never any regrets. There's not any regrets at all. I'm sure she fucking has.
Every day.
I'm somebody going, I can't believe I got somebody
every day
to marry me like that. But no, she works, you know, and don't get me wrong, she plays around the working bike. She worked about 10 minutes every week, but now she's doing full time, so I can't moan at her or anything. I never did, but. And by the way, she likes the night out more than I do, you know.
I do know.
You know, it's not check my diary in the house, it's check her diary. I mean, so.
Rightly so, good for her. We work hard, we play hard, that's the way it should be.
I couldn't make it, whatever. You know what I mean?
Aye.
I'm going out this weekend. Good time. I'm going away with the girls. Good. You know what I mean? You can't have any marriage where you sit and say, hold on a minute.
No.
You can't.
No.
Go and do what you want. You know, you want to do it, you don't make it a piece. I don't need to watch that Married at First Sight shite. That new thing, you know, holy shit, man, is, no.
Well, the worrying thing for me is Louise watches this How I Killed My Husband programmes constantly.
She's always looking for advice.
She's always looking for advice. She can cut me up and make me disappear and never be caught. But the good thing about that is I've got her on my side, so then when I'm then in here or DJing or drumming or whatever I'm doing, wherever I need to be, wherever I need to go, it's like, no problem, carry on.
Oh, you need,
and it's always good.
It's got to cut both ways.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
We do, and have a partner that's checking up on you and saying, well, you can't go that side, I want to do this, you would never achieve anything,
never
be anything. I mean, you've got to be as flexible comes to do anything in the entertainment industry level you want, because it's not a 9 to 5 job.
No.
You know,
no.
It's constant.
Although we all have 9 to 5 jobs as well.
We do, because the entertainment industry is not
it's not as lucrative
as people would think.
As people would think.
As
people would think. But we had that conversation with Louise at the weekend about coming up here, and I come up here every weekend. And I'm not going to tell you what I say the date for, but
Hopefully it's enough.
exactly. It's next to nothing. Aye, but that's because I enjoy
It's not
it.
going to pay it.
Exactly, you're going to pay it. But I enjoy it because you get to see people, you get to enjoy things. Like, and we'll touch on it in a wee while, but the sort of some of the acts that since I kind of I've met you that I've been involved in doing DJ support or even just coming to see them in venues. It's amazing.
In reality, Tom, I made you.
I was nothing before I met this man.
No, listen.
Well, that kind of brings us. You spoke about the family. You're living in Stuart, and that kind of takes us to where I first met you. Was when you were a proprietor in Stuart and Match the Mods. I think the first time.
Match the Mods. I was in. Touched on the Match the Mods things with the charity conversation there. It was at Match the Mods when you were third class tickets in the band. It was the band.
Yep.
And. Me and my usual, you come up the drum but end up DJing as well.
Yes.
That's when I think something can be a double done.
Or triple or quadruple.
Whatever you can get, you know. That was 2015.
Wow.
No, I mean, people, to be fair, because of where we go, people think we've known each other all our life.
No, but
it's 7 years, 7 years, but it fucking feels like.
It feels like all my life.
It's 7 years. It's 7 years, and I think it's fair to say we're inseparable since then.
Aye.
So Match and Mods it was a crank gig.
It was good. It was good. At that point, I didn't have very many records at all. So to let you get into a wee bit of a secret about Bob comes up with these ideas and you've got to go and buy loads of stuff. And then he comes up with another idea and then you've got to go and buy all the stuff for that. And then he comes up with another idea and you've got to go and buy it. So I've now got records for the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 90s.
But you said I made you. Now you can get.
Thank you for the reason that I'm skinning all the time.
Well, do you know what, Tommy? I would say in musical terms or in genres, I was well up in my 60s because I loved the 60s.
Yep.
You probably got me more into soul and ska.
Yep.
So although I knew about it, I wasn't a collector. But Mad was one of my favourite bands. Two-tone ska, when I look at it, I knew the specials were. But Bob Marley's, you know, is one of my heroes. You can see what he paints, you can see if you get one of the paintings up. So I love reggae. But I don't think you can deny that I educated and introduced you to the 80s.
You did indeed.
You wanted to bypass that decade.
I was trying very, very hard to ignore the 80s because the 80s was when I was at the secondary school. Look at the time, and music-wise, I listened to that now because me and my mates were punks and then into the jam and the specials and madness, bad manners, and that's what we were into all the way through. Because I started a band then when I was in sort of 13, and the guys in the band were a couple of years older, so they taught me about this music. So the rest of the 80s was that's for the lassies, that stuff. But to be honest with you, when we touch on the 80s stuff, I am a convert, I will admit. You've got me into the 80s. And you hear a couple of tunes that you maybe DJ and I'll check them out and then go and look at. But that's what we did to each other. We just
well, the thing with the 80s is, you know, we've got the Refresh Club Nights. I started Refresh Club Nights, but as usual, we have a bit of laugh about together and things. They go back to people thinking I was a mod, right? Or people I've met in later life thought I was a mod, because I wore Fred Perry's and things like that, but I also had the big country boots and Tap Shotland, which were one of my favourite bands. And just to clarify it, Simple Minds is my all-time favourite band of all time. And also I've got everything. I can't say about everything I've ever done, but anything I've been able to put my hands on, I've got it. U2 was my second, and then Big Country, then it was Alarm. So, but you know me, Janan, and Culture Club's my guilty pleasure, and
I was listening to a thing earlier that spoke about don't have guilty pleasures, just have pleasures, don't feel guilty about it. If you like it, you like it. No, you don't when it comes to Culture Club.
No, you can't.
Saying that, when I was at school, I was going with my lassie whose favourite band was Wham, and I got into Wham. So it's like
George Michael's, let's be honest,
one of the best songwriters of all time.
You can't. Yeah, I defy anyone. Like all these punks and that saying, and some of them are watching, be like, fucking these pish.
Yeah.
Bombs. There was a depression going on at the time. There was no jobs, there was nothing. And the music was coming out was outstanding.
Yeah.
And if you think, okay, there was some pish as well.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? But funny pish.
Yes.
So I mean, stuff that you would play as a DJ and then flat unless you're having a laugh, which we do sometimes. But
says the man who plays Tiffany all the time.
Yeah,
I love
definitely.
I love
Tiffany's
it.
a song. But I could have told you this one, but I don't know if anybody gets this. Right? There's a couple of artists I can't stand. I hate saying their names, right? But I don't dislike the power. Right? But see when the song China and the hand comes on, I feel a bile rising every time. And I'm telling you, the fellow got a doctors, it's a mental thing, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just feel, and I don't want to know if maybe when I'm drunker,
Summon Heart.
but I do, and you can laugh all you want, but every time I put the radio off, but I could listen to anything else she does.
Aye. Just that one song.
That one song. And then, if fucking twat face, Lisa Stansfield, a sadie comes on, I just go bump. I mean, the biggest gut wrencher for me was watching Normal Soul and Lisa Stansfield was in it. I mean, honestly, I don't know why. I just awful, god awful.
Aye.
Just god awful.
I was just thinking back to some of the. Remember the Sidney Stewart and the DJ for Tom Hingley. It's like I would never have met these people. I was a guy who played in a wee band that played in pubs in Ayrshire, and then it opens up this world to these people and these artists.
If you looked at my phone at one point, people on my phone that I idolised when I was younger. You know, but they're
your heroes or do your friends.
And I know you've got some of them.
Some of them maybe not your friends anymore.
But they were, right? And I've met some brilliant people. I've met some, you know, the people you don't think. When I bought from the Jamming Tune, you know that because you did the VIP.
I did the VIP,
and
yes.
that's when I introduced you to Alan Drover. As I said, guys, I'm a guy, right?
Yes.
Alan Drover said to me, look for a drummer, and I went, just take to a man right now.
Yeah,
upstairs,
and that's what happened. And the rest is history.
From the Jam, young dog do for playing, Seaside Sons, packed out, sold out. I still speak to Bruce Fox. And it was my gig.
Yep.
Mm.
Which is why, at any time I've had any dealings with that man, I have never, another time, I've done the VIP thing with you, played at the Noon when they were headline, and I played with Soldier On when they were supporting them at Motherwell, and I have yet to see the man face to face.
Very good.
So, for every nice guy you do get Bruce Fox, who's living off of somebody else's songs.
I can't say he's an arse, or he's nice.
Because you never met him.
Fucking paid him. But then, you know, so...
anyway, that's my great.
So for me, who's a big follower of the Jam, I know you're slated because I just start trying to be but do you know what, Richard Hastings is a brilliant singer, frontman, and obviously you've got Bruce Fox. So for me, it was a...
Oh, they're good, they are brilliant, but for me it's just that it's a total...
You can't off the guy, you can just... People, you're not the first to see it.
No,
you're not the first to see it.
But on the other hand, with the likes of Tom Hingley feeding Spiral Carpet, when he played at Ayrtown Hall for you,
come down for it.
For the sad gig that was, but he sat in that the dressing room up the stairs and regaled us and played, sat on five on an acoustic guitar and sung to us as if he'd been my friend for years, telling us stories about. Fantastic guy, and there's no need to be.
No, there's not. I mean, I can't know this. I mean, there's a guy coming up here playing in May. My God, I'm going to miss it again, even not because Jackie's booked a holiday. But the circles are up.
Yeah.
Mick Walker is one of the most genuine, lovely guys I've ever met. Ever met.
Appreciative of everything you do.
Dave Cairns, see that affair.
Yeah.
Gentleman, that guy. Jar Wobble, Phil. Legend. Do you know what I mean? And I look at all these people and I go, see the biggest problems I've had has been some people in covers bands. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I get that people want to put on the best show they can.
Yes.
And that's why you pay them to perform. They put on a great show. But, you know, have a bit of respect. Turn up on time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Turn up on time, get yourself ready, and off you go.
Do the show.
You know, when you get to the point where you're getting bands that we're bringing in just now, they're not chart topper bands,
No.
but they're in a day. You know, so what you find then, as soon as you book them, you've got hundreds of pals.
Yes.
You know, millions of pals. And ones that are in bands that want the sports slot, ones that are not in bands that want free tickets. You get that. That's the life.
It's just the life
it's
of
a
the
trials, you know, it's a venue. That's what you get, right? But when you go through life meeting people and listen to their stories, I get fascinated with it. But I get fascinated with the man in the street stories. You know, see, with a busker playing, Jackie gets pissed off because I've been against the Boab watch for ages. But she can go and do all the shopping around she wants.
I'll be here. I'll not be anywhere else.
And some of the best performers and singers are out there in the street. You know what I mean? That haven't been recognised because there's not the chain of event, you know, the chain to follow that used to be. Just to get from start singing to a recording contract. Even a recording contract now means very little.
No.
You know, because there's no physical records out there. There's nothing.
No.
You know, it's the charts. Well, what is the charts now?
No, that's all the con.
99p to download. Do you know what I mean? So people download 99p even if it's shit.
But basically don't. Just with Spotify you get it for free.
So, but yeah.
And
Tommy showed me a site I can get down.
that's gone, dude. That's gone, dude. We've been caught with all the ones.
On the kind of music that we're into, the 80s music, and do you know, I love my soul and I love my ska and I love the mod and I love the 60s, I love reggae, but there's something that I change when it comes to the 80s. I'm reliving my youth when I'm playing.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And you've seen the dance floors, Tommy, when they're on, they're just fucking bouncing. And that to me that's heaven.
It's great, isn't it?
It's heaven.
Oh, don't get it. Whether I'm playing with a band or whether I'm DJing, see if I see somebody dancing that nobody's watching, even if it's just one person, it's like, I'm doing my job right. This is what I want. I keep saying I'm addicted to the encore roar. See when you finish a gig and somebody goes, oh, one more song. Or when somebody, you finish going, sorry guys, the bar's shut, it's time for you to go. Oh, put another song on, come on, we're enjoying ourselves. That's what I live for.
That's funny for a period, isn't it? And then you're still going out the door, put one more song and Dex are down.
Aye.
No, we do the reflex combination. To be honest with you, we could go everywhere with that. But as you know, sometimes you've got a lot on and you've got to be up for it as well. There's no point going just running them out.
You can't go and do an 80s night where I'm turning up, it's a job. You can't.
No, right.
But to be fair, I don't think you and I ever turn up anywhere and it's just a job. Whether it's our pal's 40th birthday party or 50th birthday party or doing DJ support for Bad Manners and Hogmanay like we had a year. That's the difference. The minute you cross that line, well for me anyway, I know you're the same, when you're there to entertain, you're there to give folk a good night.
You'll have nights I've had, Tommy, though, and there's millions of DJs out there, so you've had nights that I've had where the dance floor's been packed all night, but you've not enjoyed it. You know, you've went through the motions, you kept the dance floor packed, you're packing up going, didn't really enjoy that. That's when you know you need to take a break from it, you know, you need to step back.
Same as everything. If you do it constantly all the time, you do need to keep it fresh, keep it changing. Or it just gets stale, whatever you do.
Well, on it, I mean, you actually have, I'm not saying you don't have DJ heroes as such, you have DJs you admire, I'm not going to name you because that would go against the grain. But we've done things, you know, we've DJed with some cracking people.
We have.
Robert Kelly, just for me, is a gentleman.
Yep.
He knows his tunes.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And he's getting the same way every time.
Yep.
Right?
Hello guys, what do you want me? When to start, when to finish, a long one for?
100%. Carnaby, a bit like us, in terms of, he's probably better known in was better known in the scooter scene and non-soul scene, things like that. But then he's come into the 90s stuff, and by the way, it's happening.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, actually.
He's
been here shortly at some point. I admire him because he can switch genres, and he can move about. But
and he throws a curveball in the same as us.
He does throw a curveball, and he can throw one in. And he's got a way of shouting up and you're on these songs, and you're never looking on, don't you dare play that. Because you're fucking in a rig.
Yeah.
Get on, go.
Why not?
Anybody's got the balls to go up there and put a tune on. The galling thing about being a DJ, and we've spoken about this all the time, is you're the forgotten person.
Yeah. You're on at the end.
You're just a DJ.
Aye.
But if it wasn't for DJs, and that's for all DJs, getting the crowd up for it, half the gigs wouldn't be as good as that. Because the crowd are cold, they're not getting up for the music, And you can always tell, if you get 300 in the room, you're going to at least keep 50 back. People say, oh, you keep 300, no, people have trains and stuff like that, but if you can hold 50, it's a successful gig. You get young DJs coming up, young Liam Mullins coming up, but it's soul again. I don't know what the hell happened to young Curtis. He was about us all the time, and then he seemed to, I don't think DJs anymore.
He doesn't. I was talking to him about his family recently.
And
he's on his work career, and that's concentrating on that. Well done, wee man.
I'm delighted for that because trust me, it can interfere with your work.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, it definitely does.
I
hope my boss isn't watching, because it definitely does. You're answering phones and text messages and trying to sort out gigs in the afternoon when you're supposed to be doing work.
There's a lot of names we can mention that the cracking DJs, but again, there's a lot of snobbery in the scene. There's a lot of, and I suppose that's when I end up getting fed up with. And you get people saying, I wish all the promoters or venue owners would talk. You can.
No.
They talk about everyone's entitled to put their night on. You'll never hear me griping that if somebody else did something on similar to what I've got on the same night, because you can't talk to everybody.
No.
You can't do it. You've got to put your event on and promote it best you can.
And hope
and be as successful as you can.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. And you can't gripe about other people. And you'll never get anybody at it. If somebody said that he was on, they're lying. I don't know. You just go on with your own thing. So, I mean, that's what they go on with your own thing. Especially in a place like this now, you can't take time to think about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You've got to crack on. Just lay out the foundations of where you're going to go and stick on the path.
Yeah.
That's the path we're on now, to be honest with you, where we were in the bungalow to where we are now, Because
that's over the past few years, you had your own venue, then you went to the bungalow and you brought some amazing acts up to Paisley, who have continued to come to Paisley, whether it's here or in the bungalow. You're still seeing these wonderful acts coming.
I've said it we're probably as well talking about how I got involved in the bungalow.
Yes.
And it was through him and Big Heat, Unity.
Yep.
Big huge Heat. Who got me involved with Teenage Cancer Trust, which we'll go into. But he came to say, listen, my mate's taking over the bungalow, do you remember? Bacon taking over the bungalow, we're going to have an all or nothing night. And I was like, well, technically we're all or nothing.
Aye.
That's the name of the, those that didn't know.
Yes.
It's a DJ show. And it was involving, like a band, us, and the money was supposed to be split for you, So the band, the charity, I think the charity got it all the time.
Aye.
And then we started all or nothing things in the bungalow, and I remember the owner Alan Corrigan at the time didn't know what to expect. I think it was, I'm not saying struggling because I'd probably been the wrong saying struggling because I wasn't involved in it. But I think it was trying to get a kick on a piece on, and Ewan got involved, and we blew the roof off that night because it was a kind of spiritual home for us. If you think about it, the bungalow. So there's some fantastic nights in there. I mean, Jesus, memories of that place. Brilliant. Yeah,
you even got us wearing skirts at one point.
That's a pretty kills on. That's the Uncle Chester pictures.
That's it, it comes up every year. There's that kilt picture again.
We had some brilliant laughs and we met some brilliant people. And a lot of them still follow what we've got on, and you can go.
Yeah. I still see them regularly.
Yeah, the bungalow. There wasn't people who thought it was a bitterness into it. There wasn't a bitterness into it.
No.
It run its course. The relationships have run its course, and Ewan, I fell for Ewan and Annette. They were getting flack at the time for a lot of piss. You know, and people don't know about that, so I'm not going into detail.
No.
Flack for a lot of piss. I've had it myself, so I understand where they're coming from. And they kind of, we're not doing it anymore. We continued on to finish the slots, but out of respect for the fact that, well, started it, we stopped it.
Aye.
After we'd honoured the ones that had been booked, we stopped it. The bungalow happened, I left the bungalow. And it is what it is now, so it's not, I didn't leave anything to do with any people that were there, but they weren't there at the time. I left the bungalow and found myself a wee bit in limbo.
Yep.
So we did, but we were still DJing though, and attending gigs and things like that.
Still did a bit, but it wasn't as much.
No, it
wasn't as much. We kind of felt like we did one thing for a wee while.
Well, I think we had to as well, we had to kind of regroup a little bit, because
definitely.
I felt thing, but even when I was involved with the bungalow, I don't know whether it's because of the working man upbringing I had. I felt an affinity with Paisley. Now I used to work for William Tracy, which is quite high up management, William Tracy, and I used to work for William Tracy, which is a beneficial business, so it was always about this area. But I felt an affinity with the people in Paisley, down there.
We felt at home, didn't we?
Yeah. And so I probably took it to the point that, this is the place to be, this could be Glasgow. And one man can't change the world, but if something starts, and there's loads going on. Nothing like what's going on just now, but there was loads going on. So when the bungalow thing ended, I was I lost soul a wee bit in that respect, and we came about a few things, and it was Haley Gorman used to do the door, and the bungalow was working in the deli for me, and I said, I'm still looking, I'd like to get another venue myself, and I don't know how she found it, she told us about
this place,
which used to be Miles Campus Centre, for anybody that doesn't know that. And so it was a couple of weeks later, I got hold of the landlord and come up and seen it, and told me it's nothing, obviously it's nothing. Like
no, not compared to what it is do.
When I walked through the door, and people say that's nonsense, I'm telling you it's true, I just went,
this is it.
This is it. And started on a journey that...
A roller coaster.
Oh my God, you couldn't write it. You couldn't write some of the stuff, that we went through. Was, obviously, when I got it, and then I acquired a couple of partners in James, who put a heart and soul into it.
They did. They worked hard.
They were the sort of building arm of it, as fair saying, and Steve did all the lighting, the visualisation was there. I know we've enhanced it quite a bit, the hard work since it, but they did put the heart and soul into it, and a lot of hard work. And there was always difference of opinions, you're going to get that when the three guys got something. But, they wouldn't have been where it is from the changes made, it wasn't for them. So, people forget that there's no, now that they're not here, it's not me saying yes or anything, it's like, what, circumstances would have been different, for three of us, it probably would have been just going the same way it was going, but we faced everything. Every time we turned round, it was somebody slapping us in the face, you know what I mean? We've got it from the planning issues, the noise issues from then COVID. And then falls dawns, that many falls dawns with COVID, opening up.
Opening up, shutting and opening and shutting.
It sapped the energy, but it sapped the relationship as well. In terms of, friendly, we don't no animosity, not that, I believe anyway, but it just got to a point where we were going to part company at one point, I think. Whether it was those boys kept it or I kept it, it was going to happen because I think just everybody had enough of each other.
Which happens.
You know,
all relationships
and I class it as a friendship, so I think it was friends. I didn't want, and they didn't friendships to be affected. So, you know, they're welcome and taking them back in and things like that. So, you know, it's not a case of so just to ally anybody's things. There was no followers. There was no
any of the Chinese whispers that's
nothing like that at all. You know, the coin was tossed, I suppose, and it fell on my side for myself. But as people know, Margaret Parsons or Mags is my partner now, and you know, it's been
another roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster of laughter. It's a roller coaster of laughter, and do you know what? You can't say we wouldn't have got to where we were without her. What I will say, and hopefully admire about it, is her enthusiasm kick-started me.
I'll admit, I thought you were finished with the whole thing. I thought you were finished
honestly,
with the whole thing.
Yeah. I was in the same mindset as the partners. You know, I think we were all finished with it, but nobody really wanted to walk away from it. But I think it was inevitable. It was going to come at some point someday. If things hadn't changed, and it didn't look as if they were going to change in terms of COVID and things like that. It was cool. So.
You're not the only business that went through that through COVID. There's thousands of businesses that are all going through the same thing.
So Mags, just to get people straight here, myself and Mags have been talking for months about an icon. You knew that. For months. And Mags always said that she wished I came to her when I got this. Right? I said, well, do you know what? She'd the part of her. And no matter what you say about that part of bar, it's a family in there, it's a drinking man's pub. She looks after it. It's crazy sometimes, some of the things she does for the punters in there. But she looks after it. She's a proper landlady.
Yes.
She's a proper landlady. But she won't take any shit off anybody. And her tongue's just as fierce as any man's. You know what I mean? So she's brilliant. And I always had an affinity with her, gone great with her. She's the same sense of humour as me. And that's important to me. You've got a good sense of humour, it's not a childlike sense of humour, but you're willing to take chances. Now, so when the deal it sort of all came about it, I'd actually spent Margaret's money without telling her. You know, which is
and you followed up with the first of the last.
I'm famous for that. What? I knew she would really have, because we were going to put a nightclub downstairs. The boys, their own reasons, didn't really want that to happen if I was involved in it, because obviously you probably think it would impact on here, so that's the conversation. I won't go through the conversation, but that's what it all came to light. It was decided that they would sell the shares, and I had done the deal. And Mags was sitting in the house unaware of it, you know what I mean? And they boys didn't know, to be fair, at the time who it was. I keep my cards close to my chest. But it wasn't that.
Well, it's quite telling about the business before it's actually business.
It wasn't that I disagreed. I had it in place for her. I was honestly in placement for her, was for downstairs or another venue. So I remember when after the meeting with the lads, and I phoned her, and she was like, go either way. She would say, get yourself to But you know, I can't. I'm telling you right now. It was like two-minute conversation. Brilliant. Brilliant. Explained the financials that nobody needs to know. And brilliant. And we adhered to everything we'd agreed.
Good.
So Margaret became my full partner. And we had some good. We've had some good laughs and some great laughs. And no fucking way is that happening. But that was mainly me moaning about. And it was me. You come in, you know, you fall over stuff, you know, and then you look up and chaise lounge. You know, the fuck.
But look at it.
If you've
not actually been to the venue, the entrance hall is something
I designed the wallpaper and everything. I wanted the carpet up upstairs, right? And the carpet downstairs. But Mags did all the focal point bits.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which was all my
a woman's touch.
It's all my artwork. But then she did the most arguments are was the ladies' toilets.
And you're wrong. She's right.
No, it turns out she's right, because every single person who comes in there, so the toilets are lovely. And they are, to be fair. And the difference is when you walk in now, you know, and it's nothing about previous people. But when you walk in now, you walk in and go, you know, and I've seen the reaction in people's faces. You know, you walk, and now obviously, I mean, some of this stuff is planned anyway, but now we're on PA, we're on background, we're on lighting, like, you know, and all the artworks up.
Yeah.
It's a fully stocked bar. It's just the RocknRollas sign. You know, you walk in, it's got an identity now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And people that haven't been here, I mean, you're seeing the back wall. You haven't seen the big balcony up there as well.
Yep.
Which was
the VIP area.
VIP area, which kind of I need to enhance, and we've got plans to build a bar up there in the corner. But it's a venue now you walk into. It's stunning is a word used too easily, but I don't care. It's a stunning venue.
Yeah.
It's a stunning.
For what it was to what it's become to what it's going to be, it's just stages and building, and every time I come in, there's something else. It's like the other last week when I came in, the sign was all like, all right, or the pictures were up, or it's building to the venue that you told me about a few years ago when you bought this shell.
Well, when you're going back to Mags, that was a key element of it. She bought into the vision.
Yes.
But added a one touch to it.
Enhanced and vision.
Absolutely. And I take nothing. People don't understand. I take nothing to do with the park.
No.
Whatsoever. The floats. When she came in, I mean, we've been operating for 2.5 years and buying bags of ice and things like that, you know, just to get things going. I mean, with that week, it was an ice machine, it was a dishwasher, 2 new towels, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had nothing to do with that. You know, I was all done and what she knew. We could have offices cleaned out. We've got offices now as such where I go into the ticket office and work. And she spends. She probably thinks she doesn't spend as many hours as me here.
I think you think she probably does. She's here. Well, I'm giving the gigs a run, but I keep saying she gets bloody 3 weeks off and stuff like that. She takes care of the bar, and I come in now. All I do, Tommy, is an important part of that is I worry about entertainment, make sure everything's okay, and. It's a marriage made in heaven. Yeah.
And this thing. And long may it continue. Because we are, as you know, we'll talk about stuff that's going on. It's just, things just seem to fall into place now, you know.
Yeah.
What's the size of this venue? Paisley, you bring in, you know, the bands we're bringing. One I can't mention this moment in time.
No, but it's big.
They've not sold out a Barrowlands ticket.
It's big, folks.
And then you've got Big Country, you've got Sam 69, you've got the Home Monkeys. By the way, both have played for me before. But you're attracting them to the west end of Paisley, which was needing enhanced, needing lifted. You know, and people
Paisley doesn't finish at the uni.
No, it doesn't. But a lot of people did think that.
A lot of folk think that.
I still get people saying, "No, the RocknRollas." I get that. I get that because your only mechanism now is social media. In reality, do you know what I mean? And as much as I hate social media, it's a necessary evil. So
and just to let you know, folks, it's a 10-minute walk from Paisley Gilmer Street.
It's
a 10-minute walk.
Just straight down the road for the train. Do you know what I mean? And we try our hardest to organise the band being off.
And enough time for people to get for trains.
The last train. Yeah, we wanted to stay in.
Aye.
But we try our
understand
to be accessible
to
people. And so I'm kind of waxing lyrical about the place because Mags reinvigorated myself. And I got the buzz back.
You get a passion for it again.
Yeah, and people forget it was me walking through the door the first time, myself, you know, and everybody else had been involved in this came after me. And to be at a point where you were willing to walk away from it because it's just you were unhappy. And not before anyone says I'm not saying I was unhappy with the boys. I just was unhappy. It was.
I think from where I was seeing it as an outsider, COVID broke you.
It broke me.
It almost broke the venue.
It did.
Yeah.
Because we got the kind of grant we put on, everybody got it. We didn't get the support other venues got. And I'm not criticising it. Good luck to you.
Right, well done.
No, good luck to you. We didn't get the
Let's hope they stay open and they keep going. And
so everything's been put into here has been blood, sweat, tears and finances been our own. Do you know what I mean? However way you want to look at it, it's been our own. And so when Mags came on board, and I mean within a week, 2 weeks, it was, you know yourself, took me to charity shops one day, it was the second thing I ever done, honest to God, and I was, no, but we got on absolutely brilliant, and our family, I'm growing close to the family, things like that, you know what I mean? She met Jackie, a couple of times now, she hadn't never met Jackie, so everybody's running the house of fire. We're all doing, I mean, at the time I had my friends were up here working, John McCann was up here working, our daughter was up here working, so people pulled out all the stops to try and help out. So the venue itself, I can just see, right, okay, but what I love about it is none of the two is finished.
No.
Do you know what, we're still looking at ways, like what we need to do.
Still stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
People go, what are you talking about? You know, what else you don't get? People don't realise, a lot of people don't realise there's another floor. There's another floor. There's got a bigger floor space in this because it doesn't have the front entrance, the bar and all that sort of stuff. It's another floor. And the plans we have for that are just, you know, and we started the work. We started work on it. You know, it's going through we started work while it's going through planning for down there, but it's not, the work we're doing would have to be done anyway. Whether planning through that, which would be shocked if it didn't. But it's going to be probably the biggest beer garden in Paisley. Do you know what I mean? And an art cafe. We'll call it art cafe, rustic.
Yes.
Which is old fashioned, like you come in the sandstone walls, charity shop seatings, I call it, for everywhere. You know, and the
grannies at Christmas.
Exactly. And the food prep area is going to be like half a cabin. Log cabin, do you know what I mean? And then the bar, this is we're both laughing, but we're both got the same ideas, the bar and the performance area. So, we're not with the grandkids on Saturday, what we're going to do? We got to play an acoustic guitar. We've not got names for it yet, right? But I'll go up there, kids can get a burger and that, we can get a coffee and a pint. You know, that is it. That is the vision. And that is the vision, and that's we've moved on that direction already. Because what you've got to look at is, to differentiate yourself or to remove yourself from the pack, you've got to offer something that nobody else is offering. Right? Now, at some level, other venues are offering it, but they don't have the space we've got. So, to maximise people coming in here, the food's going to be finger food, Tommy. Burger and chips and a bloody basket of dirty fries, and so it's going to be that kind of pub grub. And but if you want to, you come here, you can get down below, downstairs and have a pint and that before a gig. A burger and that, and walk upstairs, you're in the gig.
And you're in the gig,
So you're coming from two different places. That's the goal. Next summer's day, out there, we'll probably, I'll end up building an outside stage. But I mean, just to clarify, the car park next door, you know, our landlord has acquired that.
Good.
So, but he's acquired it for us. So, we are going through the process now of, you know, we don't not upset anybody because there's people that park in there that probably we're grateful to. Do you know what I mean? And we'll ensure they still get parking. And because we're grateful to them, because we put up with facts, people walk about and stuff like that. But we'll close it, we'll barrier that off. Take the bottom half as a larger beer garden and then use it for touring bands. People round about that we're grateful to, will get a code to get in and park the car. And keep everybody out, because when I took over, there's rubbish, cars, fridges, everything. It's all been cleared now, but we're going to barrier it. So everything we're doing here
is enhancing the area.
It is enhancing
the area.
But it's bringing to Paisley
something that's not already there.
It's not already there. It's there in different parts. Do you know what I mean?
But no, in the one.
But the key thing is, we're not in competition with anybody. We're not. trying to take a customer away from that pub or that venue.
Yep.
Not interested in that.
Yep.
You put on, you put on, we put on what you put on. Who comes to what is up to them. But people forget how big Paisley is. And there's not. I mean, if you really want to be honest, there's 3 venues in Paisley. I know that, you know, and this isn't me talking down to anybody, 3 venues in Paisley, which is the Bungalow, RocknRollas, and CC's, which is Mags's other place. That's 3 music venues, right? And call yourself venues because that's what they are. You've then got the Swan, who put on live music, right?
And do very well at it.
Absolutely, a great pub, right? But it's a pub, and they put on live music. So it shows you what can be done. You know, they've carved a niche market out there. People come and play. They get all the punters in. Great place. Jen at the Cave, tracks in, pub, live music. Kennedy's, Anchor Bar. They all put. I know I'm missing some of them, but they all put music on. Right? So you can't make competition in every one of them, though.
No. So and what you find as well is, and I can speak on this because I go across the gamut of a DJ, I play in a covers band, and I play in a tribute band. All the venues are all different things. The band you get in the Swan, you might get in here eventually at some time, with a support slot.
On a Sunday,
on a Sunday, on one of the Sundays. But that band is specifically a pub band, so it will go to these certain venues. The acts that you're going to have here are totally different. They're no pub bands.
That's the thing.
They're show bands.
There's no requirement to be in competition with anybody.
No.
From my side of things or their side of things. So to get out there to the public, there is no competition. There's no animosity. There's not anything. There will be touchy times over the years, but there's not. That's just natural.
Of course.
I mean, Paisley in itself.
Paisley's big enough to hold it all.
Absolutely, but apart from that, if we don't all, and I mean all, pubs, venues, keep doing what we're doing, then you're going to lose footfall into Paisley.
Definitely.
You want me to be 100% honest with people, and people will go, I can't be right, I can tell you right now, 40% of the people that were here on Saturday night that sold out jersey and so from out with Paisley.
Correct.
So, some of the tickets I'm selling for Sam 69 and Big Country are coming from London, they're coming from Liverpool. So, we look at things on a certain level. That's just how we do that.
And the people from London and Liverpool will be going to the restaurants, they'll be going to other bars before it opens.
Check the comments. This one comment on Saturday night made my day, because it nailed what I'm trying to achieve here with Max. It nailed what we're trying to achieve. The guy put on it, turned up, went to the Uncle Duck, had some food, wandered down, just in time for the show, and on the way down, there were 6 of us on the way down, my wife said, oh, this is just a night out in Glasgow.
There you go.
So it's on Facebook, it's not made up, it's on Facebook, one of the comments.
Did they walk or did they waddle?
They walked. So when that comment up, millions of things, with some issues, which
of course, it's the first one, and these things are always going to happen. You learn for it.
Right, definitely. That's one of the strong points we've got. So we'll move on for that and make sure.
You listen to these things and make sure that they happen again.
Because all comments are welcome. Don't be bitter about it. You know, just a constructive criticism, it should be welcomed by anybody. But then people will say to me, you know, well, but you in the bungalow, you know, you're in the bungalow. Everybody, you know, everybody starts that. You're in the bungalow. Donald Glory Army okay, venue down there.
Brilliant venue.
So
fantastic.
They changed it from what it was when Alan had it. We were doing stuff in there. We configured that and have a different type of venue. It's fair to say, a different type of venue. Because guys, I know Paisley was famous for punk.
Punk's moved on.
But there's still room there, as you know, bringing Sam 69 people, there's still room there for those guys. But the industry, the entertainment industry can't survive in the Paisley being the punk capital of Scotland at one point. Or a mod or whatever, it can't survive in that. So when you look at the the bungalows. I'm going to bungalow for one reason, because if people saying, why don't you put it on? That just doesn't make sense, right? So the bungalows got the big band on Saturday. Families about that. Brilliant.
It's great.
Brilliant. They put on, I mean, they've got China Crisis, one of my favourite 80s bands. They brought Simple Minded, people that play for me. They play, I went bungalow scene. They put a lot of unsigned acts on.
They do great for unsigned.
And hats off to them. Hats off to them. And they have their bad days and they have their good days. Same as we have. Nobody's any different, you know.
No.
So when people say to me, oh, I can't believe you're, you know, well done sharing the bungalow stuff or sharing.
Why not?
I'm not, I'm sharing Paisley stuff. I want people in Paisley to stay in Paisley, you know. Give them a choice and they'll stay. Right? So if we closed, that doesn't necessarily mean the bungalow will benefit, or CC's or so on. Or if any of them closed, doesn't mean we would benefit. Because people went there.
They'll go somewhere else.
Exactly. So keep the people, you know, keep it going as much as you can. Applaud the efforts of people, because, you know, people are going to bitch at each other, Tommy. But
the majority of people who do all the bitching are the ones that don't know the truth.
No, they don't. Nobody ever knows the truth, Tommy. Nobody ever knows the truth about anything, to be honest with you, unless you're part of it. You're 100% in it. Even when you're 100% on it, and somebody else 100%, there's still always a wee I don't remember that.
Listen, I always say that when a marriage breaks down, there's three stories. It's his side, her side, and the truth. Or his side, her side. And the truth, somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
Because the interpretation of what happens between even things that are said and their relationships, just totally. The town is a fantastic. I don't care, right? I don't care what people say to me. I just think they talk about passion. Paisley's a brilliant place. That's a brilliant place.
A brilliant place.
Paisley's buzzing. Music-wise, Paisley is buzzing.
Yeah.
There is exodus for Ayrshire every week. Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there's at least 2 or 3 Ayrshire bands coming to Paisley because they can't find anybody to play in Ayrshire.
Because it's extensive in Ayrshire. But Paisley's condensed. And you go anywhere on a Sunday, any time on a Sunday, there's something on. Right? Any time on a Saturday, there's something on. Right? Now that's each individual venue is added to that. Added to that. There's no supreme venue here. There's no one venue is king and one's down. We're all there trying to bring a service to the Paisley public and beyond to promote Paisley as a town. Because it's a great place. Some of the best restaurants up here. I mean, I've some great food. I like food. Some great.
We can see that.
Some great restaurants here. Do you know what I mean? There's great venues. You know, there's something on and more. I know people think it'll all change when the council buildings open back up. Well, it'll be more enhanced. If people say, yeah, I know, but how will you suffer when they open? Well, won't suffer. Why will suffer? The town hall, I'm not sure how many holds, maybe 1,500 or 1,800.
You can't compete with a 1,500 car.
No, but nobody's going to go in there and get on there every week, Tom.
No.
So why am I going to suffer? Why is any of us going to suffer, to be honest with you? And if we're all box clever enough, you can all work together to make sure everything's busy. So, Coast Memorial, you know, the landlord here is, I don't know, I'll say he's in charge, of course, I don't know what his title is in the charity. And he's eager to get me to get some stuff up there.
For beautiful, isn't it?
So, you know, it's acoustic setups. It can't be amplified because the sound is lost. I mean, you think that's a high sound. That's crazy. But you've got Tommy McGrory for the bungalow, LMP, Can't Care. You've got the Spree. You've got mod stuff. You've got food and drink. You've got
loads of things going on.
And the bigger venues open up, was only going to afford people to possibly bring a bigger act again. I mean, but they actually played there, right? They're playing here. So see this 1,500 pish. Sorry. If you've got the right venue and the ball's on you, which you need, you'll get them. You'll get them by pesting the hell out of them. That's why I get big country. I think the guy just went, for fuck's sake, why just shut them up. So, and you know, to hear then one of my all-time favourite bands on stage, that means more than how many people go through the door.
Yeah.
Although you want to see everybody go through the door.
Of course you do.
But it means more. But then if you know, there's the tribute acts. I'm sorry when people turn around and say, well, you want to put some real bands on. You know what, I'm tired of hearing that.
Aye.
I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
We've been locked up for 2 years.
Yeah.
People want to enjoy themselves. You know, it's a sad indictment of the music industry that when you go to another venue and you've got 4 original bands on and there's 20 people there.
Yep.
And then you come on Saturday and 300 people on Jersey Notes.
The Jersey Notes, yeah.
But that's because people want to see that. People don't want nothing new at this moment in time. I'm not saying they don't, because it's there.
It's there.
And it's well promoted and things.
Yeah. I've got a totally different take on that one, but
well, I know
that's because I love new music. But
yeah, but then you're what I call a circle, because you're part of it all.
Of all that, aye.
You're part of it all. I mean, we my match was this year. Match 3 on sound, 3 original artists.
Yep. Phenomenal.
Don't applaud me for that, because I didn't know it. I didn't know it.
It's only 3 tribute acts, but then turned up into the original stuff. And they were all great.
Well, pretty good, hell. Come on. I mean,
I've only been telling you for 5 years.
And you know, I got picked up and dropped off, and it was just banter the whole weekend. When I listen to the guys, you say to yourself, how the fuck did the racists make it?
Because they were in the right place at the right time.
Exactly, Tommy.
And they wouldn't give up.
People on the other side.
You've got to fight for everything. Nothing gets handed to you.
Actually, you're posting quite a lot. We all looked at your music, send it to us. Right? Why are they not screaming? They're just sending it to you. You know, you've got
crazy.
You've got to put the work in.
You've got to put the work in.
Or you're not going to get it.
I've seen a thing recently with Jimmy Carr, and what he says was, he was talking about Michael Jordan. He said, Michael Jordan, best basketball player of all time, probably the best sportsman of all time. Was he talented? Yes. Did he work hard? He worked harder than anybody. See, if you don't have the talent, or you don't work hard, you're going to go nowhere. And you've got to push. And you've got to push whether you're a tribute band, a touring artist. That some of the bands you've got are contacting you and saying, can we play your venue? Can we play? Because they need to be working too. If you don't work hard, you get nothing.
You know what? It's
and whether it is like myself with unsigned music on the radio, or playing with my other band in a pub, or playing with a tribute act coming in here, you've got to give your best for the time.
Well, you've got to.
And you've got to fight every day to get it.
The music crowd's knowledgeable, Tommy. And if you're putting on half a show, they know you're putting on half a show.
Correct.
And social media being the devil that it is, they'll
tell you.
They're not long letting you know. You know what I mean? People have lost the art of telling something to their face. When they can sit there
Keyboard warriors.
and just go like that, you know what I mean? But when you look at some of the young acts just now that are going about, I suppose there's millions of them. You know, I don't listen to as much of it, or anywhere near as much as you do. But you know what I'm trying to do by having the unsigned acts play at CCs.
Yep.
And then allocate them.
There's an opportunity for you guys.
Yeah. If you've not
Get
seen
in
it,
touch.
if you've not seen it on Facebook, we're running a monthly event in CC's upstairs, which is like a sister venue here. And if you're a young unsigned band, you know, people ages, not ages, just a fact, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A young unsigned band, send a link to ispyevents21@gmail.com or message RocknRollas or CC's and we'll get you a slot. And it's a paid slot, you know, you can pay your expenses and things like that. It's not asking anybody to come and play for nothing.
Yep.
Bring your people, bring your pals, whatever, it's free entry, it doesn't matter. Get them there to support you. But if, and I have to say this, if your act is suitable, you'll be allocated a support slot at one of the gigs here. And if you can't make that one, it's not the end of the world. So we'll find one.
Yeah.
So get your music out there, guys. To play small stage at CC's, and progress into a bigger stage here.
Yeah.
Hopefully progresses you to the next level.
The next level.
And that's where I want to lend the support to the other side, side music market, because give them that opportunity to play. You may play in front of 60 people in CCs, or 80 or 20 your pals at another venue. But the gigs that I'm hoping to allocate you, you're going to play 250, 300, 400 people. So, you know, hone your skills, work hard, get here. Because we're willing to. I mean, Red Bandits, you know the Red Bandits? Go on, I don't know who he calls the father of. He's a pest in the correct way.
Correct.
You
He's
know?
nice with it. He's a nice pest.
He's pushing his band. He's pushing the boys' band. And I like that. I think that's absolutely brilliant. They played here, I've still not heard them yet. They played here in places.
I've interviewed them for my radio show as well, and played them a bit.
And it seemed to be...
They're doing well. They're starting to creep up the bill. I think the headline, 13 Glasgow, a couple of weeks ago. Perseverance. Just keep pushing.
But that's...
Their album's fantastic if you like punk.
It doesn't mean you're going to make it.
No.
But it will certainly make it more
It
viable.
makes it easier.
You're
You're definitely not going to make it if you sit in the house and don't do anything.
Or sit back and think you're great.
Yes.
Because see, music is all about taste. But one man's, that's precious, and another man's, that's brilliant.
Correct.
And that's why, have you ever heard me criticise anybody say they're shite? Or I just go, not my cup of tea, but people are talking about like it. You know, that's music. That's what music's all about. I mean, my wife's take that in Westlife and push with that, right?
But it's got its place.
Or I mean, whip dances when she's, you know, Camden in 50 odd year old, you know what I mean? With GBX is on. But they've got, everybody's got a musical taste. And that does not mean, and it brings me back to in life, Tommy, dare judge anybody. Anything at all. It's nanny. You've heard me as it's nanny. What's that mean? It's nanny your
business.
You know what I mean? So if someone wants to go and dance as if nobody's watching,
love it.
why does that bother you?
I love it. I love to see it.
If somebody wants to, you know, dress in all black makeup, it's quite heavy. I'm not telling you to do it. So when someone wants to shave their head or wear a beacon, you know what I mean?
Good like it.
Somebody's touching somebody's gay. First do it every year. Not every year. It's
Nothing to do with
anybody.
Correct.
And it's not about living like life, it's just about have some common decency.
Nobody bothers what you do.
Exactly. You know, the horrific horrors are going on in the world just now, and people concentrate on this because it's well documented and well known. I'm swearing a bit now, but I fucking hate bullies of any stance whatsoever. I hate bullies. I cringe. I go cold inside. Do you know what I mean? Any abuse of kids or any abuse of women for guys, and you're fucking killed. You know, or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It's just
of course.
You know what I mean? Because women do as well. Because you know the man will hit back. But bullies, see the lives that have been taken. That's social media.
Correct.
It's pushing it. People sitting there can send me messages, horrible messages to young lasses and young boys. I mean, I've lost some people, Tommy, as you know, through suicide. And it's honestly, it's a curse. And society now is breeding people to. I've got my opinions on things, but I keep it to myself because it's not affecting.
It's your opinion.
It's not affecting me.
Right. We've all got opinions.
What I do know is that there's lost souls out there. And I'll give people a wee hint to something I put up the other night there, at a festival, right? There's a lost souls out there that are lonely. Just want to talk to somebody. Or somebody to listen to. You know what I mean? We've got people. One of the biggest comments we get about here, and I'm not saying you don't get it in other words, people feel safe in here. Feel part of it when they come in here. There was a lady came and met me last week. She wanted to talk about having a cycles club. You know, and when she left, she said, "I just feel part of it already, and I feel, you know, I feel, you know, that I could come here myself and be safe." And my words to her, and I stand by this, you know, bloody right we are, because this is what this event is all about, it's all it will ever be about, is people, no matter what you look like, no matter what sexual orientation or anything you have, you come here and you'll be safe.
Yeah.
You'll be made feel welcome.
You know what it is.
Can't stop somebody looking over, and I can't stop that. But what I can tell you is, I will be awkward.
Yeah.
Because I want you to remove the person that's making awkward.
Yeah.
His ass or her ass wouldn't touch the ground.
Yeah.
Stop judging people. Because if all the skeletons in the cupboard will come out to everybody. Do you know what I mean? So let's not be kidding, Tommy. You know what I mean? People sit there with their nose at the top of other people's because of the height of something themselves. That's just fact. So shut up. Let people dance, sing, do their thing.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone.
Enjoy yourself.
Nothing to do with you, not part of you. Just do it. That's the sermon over.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what it is.
But that kind of puts me on to, I know there's something you really want to do with this venue. When we started saying it was a multi-purpose venue, Singles Club, great idea. Hugs needs to happen.
Right. Hugs is happening. Basically, you know, everybody at some point in their life has had some mental health issues.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe don't want to admit it, but they've had it. It's known, you know, I confide in you a lot. I was at a low point. Didn't do anything stupid, obviously. I was at a low point. And at the same time, I was looking around me and it just seemed to be carnage.
Yep.
Every time you turned on the television, a young boy was missing and someone was found dead.
Still hard.
Carnage. People kill themselves because they're bullied. I go back to that. And or people thinking nobody likes them and I've got to look a certain way. You know, lonely people.
Yeah.
They're just lonely.
Yeah.
And as much as I put on a persona, I went, fuck this. I'm not. I'm a soft-hearted fucking arse at things, right? So, and I know I am.
And we all are.
But
deep down.
Kids in my life of all natures. And the kids in my life, I just love kids because you don't get any falseness with them.
No.
Right? So I love kids. But hugs, basically what hugs is, you know, I don't want the misconception that it's all about mental health, right? It's a big part of what it is.
Yeah.
And I know there's other clubs in the area, but they're more better. You need to food for everybody.
Oh, definitely.
So basically, there's a lady called Alison Thompson, who's John Thompson's. John, the scooter boy, right?
Yep.
It's his life, and I met Alison through the Iconic Warriors, which was an autistic kids charity. Do you know, that's not a kid. When we were younger, there was autistic children out there, but you know, just dismissed as stupid.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's only thankfully to science and whatever it may be that it's a condition.
There's a diagnosis to it,
yeah. And various other ADHD, whatever you want to do, right? So, you know, that's a different thing altogether. But I met her through that. She got a heart of gold, and she was in dark places herself. And we were talking, and I said to her, look, do you know what? I'd love to start this before COVID again. So I'd love to start a club up here where a meeting, tea, coffee, come chat. At one point, so bring some musicians up and learn the guitar or play a wee band, a wee hour set for something, just to keep them entertained. But I wanted to increase it to, if you're sitting in the house lonely, come down. Do you know?
Somebody to talk to.
You want to talk, you need to talk to people, and you'll be, I'm not going to call seminars, but you know, we're going to discussion groups, and we'll bring in people. Yourself, as you know, the cameras are on. Is it cameras on?
Cameras Anonymous.
Cameras Anonymous. We'll bring in, it's kind of silly bringing in Alcoholics Anonymous here when it's a bar, but the bar wouldn't be open or anything. So one anything like that. So we put it out to you, know, I then realised you've not got time to put into that, to give it the justice it needs. You know, I don't, you know, I kid myself on a will, but I don't. And then everybody will, I don't know if everybody knows, but Paul Roddy. Who's at times himself, spoke to me. It's something you instantly grew passionate about. I explained to him that what I seen it becoming, and I didn't want that, the plan for that to go away. It needed to be inclusive. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, it's an over 18 thing, but it's for a reason it's over 18 at this moment in time, to get some things sorted with licensing and things like that, then we'll do a younger one, do you know what I mean? And so Paul's took it on. Well, we say he's took it on, he's took over the leadership. Sammy's making the posts on the page. If you can, it's quite hard, I don't know why it's quite hard to find, but it's Hugs. Area, and the logo's a picture of, you'll see a picture of that, that. Like it, share it. 4th April, Monday 4th April, it's our first night in here. All welcome. All welcome. Don't expect to come down to put money behind my bar to buy a drink, because that's not what it is. There's teas and coffees here. Things like that, sit and chat, and we just talk things through. So if you feel you've not seen anybody for months, come on. Just because you might not have any mental health issues. You might not have any issues at all, other than being lonely. But you may exactly be what somebody needs to talk to. You might be a great listener. And that's if you can even bring that to the party. That's it. I think you can't change the world, Tom. No. You can't change the world. All you can do is try and change your environment.
Open your door, open your ears.
Change your environment.
And as you say, never judge. Never judge.
Judgmental people have no time in my life. I just, what? How you go? Because people can make up what they want anyway. You know what I mean?
And they believe what they want, whether you tell them whatever.
Exactly, whether it's true or it's not. Jesus, I'm a living proof of it. I've had horrible things said about me, but at the end of the day, I've upset people in the past. I've done wrongs in the past. You know, but you know better than anybody, I have worked tirelessly to right some of those wrongs. Some of them I have no intention to right because the people don't deserve it. They don't deserve it, but some do because I was in the wrong. But I'm working hard and tirelessly to right them. So I mean, but see when people, sadly, there's people out there talking that would much rather not accept your apology and keep talking about it because they get more out of it. You know, but to me, all that does is them covering up their own feelings.
I mean, I'll touch on with that. With something that we touched on. I've been going to Gamblers Anonymous for a few days now, and at the end of every meet, we say a prayer. And we don't, God, it's all about a higher power, but it's a God of your own understanding. And to me, the God of my understanding is the root. So that's what it is for me personally. Everybody's different. Some people it is the celestial God or whatever. And we say a prayer, which is called the Serenity Prayer. It's God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The wisdom, the knowledge. I should really know that, shouldn't I? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There we go. And you'd get at the end. And that is like, if you're going to give something an apology and they're not accepted, then there's nothing you can do about it. But it's actually, in that wee prayer, it's knowing that you can't do anything about it. And when you can do something about it, do it. But the most important thing is knowing the difference between when you can and you can't. And it's not always easy.
No, it's not. No,
it's not always easy to know where you can draw the line.
Sometimes
and you can try.
Sometimes I find myself saying, I know what you've been saying about me. Because I've got an old thing I look at, right? Call me a prick, I'll laugh it off. 2 folk call me a prick, I'll go, 3 folk call me a prick, I'll start to say, I might be a prick. Right? Because the more people talk about it, the more it gets nearer to the truth, right? So when you hear one person saying, he said that about you, and you don't hear anybody else. But when you hear 2 or 3 people saying, right? Somebody's spreading malicious information. You know what I'm talking about? 90% of the time, it's people close to you. And that gets to me more than anybody else. That gets to me more than anything else. Because see, if I have something to say to you, I'll say it to your fucking face. You know, at the end of the day. But if they get the jollies by talking about people, and not just me, some people can't help it. Talk about things or making up stories. Can't go on, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm not losing any sleep at night over you. I'm nothing like it. So, fill the boots. You know what I mean? The only people I have to prove myself to is myself and my family. I don't even need to prove myself to them, but
because they know you.
I get up every morning to prove myself to them because of what I went through. To better myself. I know, actually, it's even better because you know what I used to play. I knew everything. I don't care about it. See, as long as you're okay.
It's the difference when you get to a point where it's like, all that stuff doesn't matter. As long as I'm okay and they're okay, that's all that matters. And whatever anybody says about me, carry on.
Do you know what? Some of it will be true.
Aye.
Fair enough, some of it will be true, but you know what? That's I make mistakes. I tell people what I think sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes I keep it in.
Yeah.
Because keeping it in is for the greater good.
Aye.
Because if you were to really say what you wanted to say, kind of worms. You know, the way I look at it, the people that have had some stuff to say to me, or say about me, I mean, I was ever about to talk about me.
I
know what I'm trying to say.
I know.
If they've got some things that are saying the truth to them, Jesus, I bet you I could open up a can of worms with them. But I'm not that childish nature.
Yeah.
I'm past all that crap.
Yeah.
I'm only interested in going forward and moving forward.
Yep.
Everything we're doing, and hugs is a huge part of. If I can entice one person in that night,
That's what you need.
then we'll provide a platform to possibly help one person. Good, that's that. If we get 300 in, brilliant. Who cares? It's not about numbers.
No.
It's about being there to talk to people.
Yeah.
For somebody to be there to listen.
Yeah.
I can assure you, you know me better than anybody. If assholes turn up, they'll last 2 seconds.
Aye.
Out the door,
Yeah.
you know. So come feel safe, don't feel embarrassed, come and talk.
Yep.
Talk, because people that are in the room aren't there to judge, because I won't have any judgmental people near me. So
you never know what you say, somebody could already have been through.
Correct.
And with that, you then get some pathway to maybe help you, or you to help somebody else, or just even somebody to talk to that you've never met before.
You got a wee old woman, right, who's sitting in this room, right, she's not on social media, so if you've got a gran or a mum who's older, and you know she's lonely, but by God, what a listener she is, try and get her to come along.
Life experience.
Yeah, a couple of things and talk. Oh, listen, son.
Aye.
No, you don't. They're the type of people that I've got, you know what I'm like older people.
Aye.
You know, I can listen to them all. Just about their stories.
Yeah.
You know, we think we had it bad.
Oh.
And then the kids today think they've got it bad. Jesus Christ, I mean, they're going through world wars, and you know, we're looking at one just now. But the deprivation, nobody knows deprivation like they people did.
Exactly.
But they lived through it, same as we lived through it. But right now, there's so much against the youth of today.
Yeah.
They don't have the grounding that we had.
No.
They don't have the discipline.
Yeah.
It was taken out, and I still say it to this day. It was taken out when the belt was taken out of school.
I totally agree with you.
Right, that's when it's taken out.
Agree with you.
Oh,
that'll open a can of worms saying that.
But
it's your opinion, my opinion. I had the belt, then you
let me get it straight. Anything I say is totally my opinion.
Correct.
And I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion. It's not one for debate. It's not one for people going, it's not one for that. These things that we're going to do, Tony, is based on getting people's point of view and things.
Yeah.
Right? And how, you know, get into music, how they go into, it could be anything, the arts sometimes.
Yep.
We have got a situation just now where there's a lot of happy kids, you know, it's not all doing good. But we've got a situation just now where kids don't need, I mean, if I wanted to talk to my pal, I just have to go and cycle or walk to his house.
And hope he was in.
Now they're on the Xbox and talk away. That's talking to. You know, you've now got 20 and 5-year-old, 30-year-olds sitting and talking to each other on Xbox. And listen, fine.
Great.
Fine.
Maybe the only person to speak to.
Exactly. So, if you want to try something different, if you're lonely, you're not feeling right, house,
come on,
4th of April, Monday, 4th of April, doors are 7, I think it is. And you come with a cup of tea and a chat. By the way, see, even if you're maybe somebody that's just, I hate to say the word because I'm aware of when it comes to homelessness. If you're homeless, you want to be here.
One in for a cup of tea.
You'll hear your life stories.
That's what you need to hear.
Yeah, you'll listen to it. Come along, everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
As both genders. All genders, sorry.
Aye.
You've got to say that now.
Aye.
But all genders are welcome.
All welcome.
Everybody's welcome.
All welcome.
We will be looking at a younger one, but there's no time to get
just because it's the establishment and the
exactly, until we get our change, it's 18 plus. So
right.
Good
stuff. Touches on that kind of touches as well on the other side of things that you do. No everything you do is for making money. The charity events that you put on and that I've been involved in, there's been some crackers, there's been some crackers.
See,
and sometimes in some very, very sad circumstances.
Well, yeah. we probably better talk Teenage Cancer Plus first.
Yeah.
And that came forward with heavy heat. heavy heat.
Aye.
When Ewan came to the venue in Stirling, I'm not sure he just started doing Glasgow or he'd done one the year before. And then Ewan said to me, look, if you think we're putting on a match in one show. I said, well, that's a fuck, Teenage Cancer Plus.
Great.
No brainer.
It's a fantastic charity.
Listen, hats off to everybody.
Aye.
I mean, everybody just, I know they're shaking their head because I fucking win it every year, right? But we always put on a top show, it's always a great show. I'm saying we now because you get credited for everything.
I just turned up on the day, point at people and say, you go in there, you do this, you do that.
Amanda saying this, just to stop it, just to give you an indication how Tommy gets things, right? I got a message, who was it from? Oh, Tosh.
Aye.
Right. Tosh has put a collective together for a supporter band. Right? See, he sent me his wee, what he's planning today. Do you think that'll be okay with you and Tam? I went, where the fuck's Tam? He said, no, that's no happening.
Love it.
So I sends it back to him and says, here you can fuck all today. Every time I do something doesn't mean he's there, right?
That's me. The majority of the time
So, 2015, I'm sure it was 2015, mate.
It would have been, aye.
Poster come up, right? And it was yourselves and who else played? Because remember the Button Up Band were meant to play.
Button Up Band, that obviously
and that
came at that point.
band was down in England at one point, and they kind of... The Lemon Tops were up.
Lemon Tops came up, yeah.
I can't remember.
There was a few bands meant to play. Crocodiles or something, they didn't turn, they didn't. Oh, aye, well.
Yeah, they changed a wee bit.
It changed a bit. I think my mate's still good. He's got one of the posters for outside your venue. My mate Bruce, he was in the third class tickets with me. It's new in his bar out his back door, up the wall. Because that was a huge thing.
So when you came to me and did it in 2015 and we did it in Stuart year 1, Stuart year 2, and I came up the venue and then we went to Coburnie.
Yeah.
Year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. Yeah, because we're 2 years not really doing it. Been in Coburnie ever since.
Yep.
And I win it every year.
Yep.
But I've always got a fantastic lineup. I don't think anybody can deny that. And for those that don't know, these bands come and play for nothing. You know, you put on a bar, scan, drink for them. They play for nothing. Venue doesn't charge you anything, etc., etc. That's the rules of it. So these bands come and play. So you've got to take your hat off them. Petty Cattell came from Ireland to play.
Yeah.
They played Glasgow, so it's not just me they played from.
That's it.
And
so 2 weekends in a row, this band came from Linfield, just outside Belfast, to Glasgow, went home, came back the following weekend and played for New Coburnie.
Correct. Right.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So it's a bit unusual for me, but so they think it is very unusual for me. So we kind of winged that bit because the venue double booked one of the nights and things like that, and threw everything into chaos.
And then we lost a couple of bands to
COVID. We lost COVID, and you're going, Jesus, is this ever going to happen? But what I will say, it was probably one of the best ones I've witnessed.
Yeah.
And we had 3 original acts on it. And it wasn't until I looked at it and I went, oh, I can't put 3 original acts on, one after the other. Right?
And 2 fantastic cover bands bookending them.
But what I worked. And
do you know why it worked? Because you didn't actually think about it.
See the fix, I feel for the fix every year. Right, you're moving up, guys. If you're somebody who's out, then they come back down, right? But see, they boys, I think that's a fantastic guy. They're absolutely brilliant band. They play with a smile and a laugh and a joke. And they kicked off. It's normally the band, it's a kick off. So, and obviously, Kings pulled out. So we went and Portofino couldn't make it. So they got Jesus Christ. Your big name.
The chances of both of my bands and the singers with COVID at the same time, which is unbelievable.
But we went through and then you say to yourself, right, there's only one man to turn to make sure he puts on a long show. So when I'm at Coyle and Lorraine and Midlife Crisis, by if you're not saying you've really got to go and see them. Now,
get well soon, guys. Two of them must get COVID again, so get well soon. I was talking to Coyle yesterday, sadly he's getting COVID.
I think she exaggerates a lot, to be honest with you. Anyway. see, so we had the fix on, and then we had the Laddie Dash. No, fixed then the solid bond. Then the Laddie Dash. Brilliant plan. They got 5 or 6 weeks. Great set. And then the Laddie Dash came on, recording them, and I thought absolutely standard.
Brilliant plan.
I know people get different. I thought outstanding. And then when Brett Cartel came on, blow the roof off the place. But then they helped to blow the roof off the place again once they were off. You know, with their partners. So he said to Coyle, how long a set? So it's usual with me, you don't find out till I post on the day. 10 o'clock till late. Fucking automatic bang. What does 10 o'clock till late mean?
Means you're on to the end.
And it's like, you're good, you know what I mean? And I said, you like to play a long set? Or a long set?
Sadly though, the drummer got 2 massive blisters as well. But I'll tell you what, it was I had a wee chuckle because Coyle says, do you want me to get Tommy to come up and drum? He's like, no, I'll finish. Just around it.
But they went on and I can't remember, was it? An hour and 40 minutes while they played, you know what I mean? And it's unheard of, but they were on and played, they kept the dance floor packed, and they were the right people to end it. You know, we didn't have Scarlatonia this year, we didn't have the Quadrophenia project, and they're all stalwarts of it, you know what I mean? I always bring 1 or 2 different bands as much as we can. So I was feeling a bit down after it, but it was more about, although it was busy, it wasn't anywhere near as busy as it's been in the past. Now there was a lot of things happening, dates had been changed for it, etc. Other things went on, do you know what I mean? And you can't help that. People have dealt with it nice on. So when I put up a wee post about like should we change the venue, because we were seriously considering that, because you're thinking, right, okay, we've had it come on for a few years now, maybe that's what's wrong, maybe we need to change it and go more central. But the kind of general consensus was that people wanted to try and keep it there. So then Harry and Emma on the phone, listen, you know, we'll get involved again next year and things like that. They've had a lot of things on, stuff like that. And before you know it, within a day, bands are booked, posters up, and I'm sitting here going,
it's the next year, It's funnily enough, because I shared the poster on the social media, and it was like the day after. It would have been, was that a good gig? Like, look at the poster, it's 2023.
So, for the first time, I'm organised. Even the sound, all the diaries, and we will sell it out again, because we sell it all the time. And I'm internally grateful to the people that turn up with that and the bands that play for nothing. But it was through Ewan that I got involved with Teenage Cancer Trust. Ewan runs Glasgow and he runs Paisley. And he raises a lot of money. In fact, there's a way down, I would say probably representing the Scottish contingent.
I would say so.
You know, and if anyone's got an issue with that, they're off a knocker, because I think Ewan's had a play in most of the Scottish match ones. I'm not 100% sure, but certainly a play in mine, because it's had an asked for the Scottish.
I think it was the same with Aberdeen as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's up there with the boys with Carry 5 and that, so, you know, down, enjoy yourself. Show the Scottish contingent, you know, we're here. And listen, every single event raises money. I don't care if it's 50 quid or 50,000.
Adds it.
No, I don't even know the totals. You always say, for fuck's sake, you know, I've made this much, there we go. And I could, you know, I'm like raffles and all that. But we do it, and you could be they've always pulled them out, and then when they go sell raffles, I never did either, didn't we tell them last year, I always lied to people to get them to do things. Because I've got them questioning whether they dedicated it or not. So Susan Muppet is the way.
I know how that works. How did I end up sitting here the night doing this?
And then off she goes and does it, and she's done brilliant. But it'd be good to have Emma and that involved, Emma and Big Harry involved next year. And to be fair, there's a ride out next year. I put up, I see there's one and the Paisley one on Saturday. It's the break up the day, so Harry's organising that. I'm looking forward to that.
Be good to see some squares.
But in terms of, it's obviously not just Teenage Cancer Trust, all kind of stuff.
There's other.
Jesus, we had one of the probably biggest heartaches we've ever had when those that watching knew a young boy called Keir McPherson, Gerardo. God, this boy was full of life. Or we thought full of life. Which takes you back to the hugs thing.
Indeed.
You know, he was obviously hurting inside or whatever it may be. And sadly...
Still sadly missed.
Yeah, sadly decided to end his life in tragic circumstances. We still remember the day. And in reality, there was only one way, because he was coming into our nothing fold. He was doing slots and things like that for us. There was only one way to honour him, was to do a gig. And Jason from Seaside Sons and myself got together and decided, like, we'll have an air town hall. And we spoke to Keir's mum and the sisters, and that was sadly lost one of us. But that was a great fitting tribute. You know what I mean? And my God, some of the talking I had to do with some of the bands to come and play. The majority of them were original bands. And, you know, but you had the Ranzas. It was the Ranzas, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ranzas were.
Ranzas. The Trips didn't. James could put the Trips back together, didn't they?
The Trips came back together to their one.
Seaside Sons. The Pelican Road, did they play? Was it Pelican Road at the time?
Was it?
I know Big Fat Panda come down and play for us.
Big Fat Panda played. King's Experience played early in the day, and we had to then go to another Ayrshire institution and play the Belfield. We were booked for that night, and then I had to come back and meet you and go DJ the after party. So that day was just...
There was like 13 bands or something, a phenomenal amount of bands played. And it was sold out at Town Hall, you know. And, you know, and to be honest with you, it's probably one of the most emotional things I've been involved in. And for me, to be standing on the floor and seeing all the bands do their thing. Because Simon Pillen did the sound, Simon did the sound. All the bands doing their thing, all paying a special tribute to everyone, was heartwarming and as it was sad. Now, the way we paid our respects to every man was we did the DJ after party at Hartley's. My God, what a night that was. What's that, 3-4 o'clock in the morning? I had been up fucking 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, being this morning, on my feet, DJing.
24 hour shot, wasn't it?
But it was absolutely amazing.
There was an electric atmosphere that night in that place.
When you played the rocking chair and all that, the full day was absolutely phenomenal. We raised a good bit of money to Scotsman for Sam
H,
and I love it. I don't love it. I wish it was in different circumstances.
Definitely.
We raised a lot of money for them. But we've also done millions for cancer charities and children's charities, football teams, or whatever. We've got one. It just seems to be that you lose good people. You know, we had Catherine and Jones died, Chris's wife, and John Garvin came to me you know,
that was one of the ones you just agreed to with it. I don't care what it is. I don't care when it is and where it is. Just
what did they do here? And which we were all for it. And then that was the time. Like it was the week from Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. Flooded downstairs, and I'm running about frantically. Venues, trying to change a venue before I even told them. Because you know. How heartbreaking that would be. And we managed to get one, pulled it together. M65 played, we DJ'd. They raised a lot of money again. Again, the money was donated to Teenage Cancer Trust, which is a big part of Catherine and Chris later on. And should have never forgotten, Chris is a lovely guy. He was going to go on with his life, as you do. So,
definitely.
If anybody's got anything to say about the fact he's out and about again, you should keep it to yourself because everybody moves on, has to move on. Doesn't mean you forget. And then, what happened? Have we run out of time?
No, not at all. Just check. Got the time to work, we should venue.
We lose the legend, Jules Maguire. And I felt especially sorry for Jerry. Because it was COVID. And I think there was 10 people allowed at a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
10 people couldn't even, 10 people that liked Julie, do you know what I mean? Seriously, do you know what I mean? And couldn't do anything to, you know, celebrate or, sorry, what we want to do, mourn her.
Send off she deserves.
Yeah, so Jenny messaged me a couple of months ago, had this idea that he wanted to do a gig in honour of her, a memory, if you want to love a better word. And I was reticent a little bit, thinking I've just done a catch thing. I don't want people thinking that I'm all about the bar or anything like that, you know, the charities. Well, people that know me know I'm not about it, you know what I mean? But he then explained to me how he wanted it to go. Where he didn't want to, he wanted to get the bands in, didn't want it to be a ticketed one, he wanted a private fair, invite only. And the only fundraising part of it will be buckets for Marie Curie, which is a big fund. I think one of the
big funds.
And I instantly took to it because I thought, you know what? Yeah, that's right. We're not fleecing. Because sometimes you do feel as if you're fleecing people when you do stuff for charity. It's a true celebration of it. As much as catch owners, you know what I mean? Well, tickets for that, that's fair enough. They got a bit of money there. He was one that's a more personal affair for him. So when he sang and spoke, and I'm like, I take it for there and go. He's
I want to do this wee thing. Oh no! We're going to live aid.
I'll contribute to the bands. And I'm saying, I want to be Williamson if I can't get bands to play for better level at least. So each of the bands I approached, Williamson saying, look, we're not asking you to play for nothing. Tick tick, but as fair as you can be. You know, it's no ticketed, it's a free event, it's a memory of her. And not name names, but the majority of them agreed to play for nothing. Some of them were looking for expenses, and I can accept that.
That's fair enough.
That's fine. But we'll cover that.
Because at the end of the day as well, these bands are then losing out on the night's income to come and do the thing as well. So you've got sometimes
that's what people miss.
They forget that.
We get asked all the time, it's for charity. Well, yeah, no, I know it's for charity. I've just done 2 for charity, so when am I actually going to get any money for anything you're doing? See these dates and this vinyl. It didn't cost that much money for the vinyl.
No, it was. I found it under a bush, sweetheart. If you're watching.
You've got
expenses.
There's millions of charity stuff going on. I think in Paisley you've got gigs for Malawi. I don't know if it's called gigs for Malawi. I know the bungalow is Sunday. If you're doing nothing, is this Sunday? Ukraine charity. You get
Ukraine fundraiser.
March and Moz is this Saturday in the bungalow.
Only a couple of tickets left.
We have got a dance show on, so we've not got any live music on. So there's millions of charity things because everybody wants to do their bit for charity. And so they should. So I mean, and it's never about that because you know me, I don't accept that. I just stand out the road and let people go. So we've turned Julie's day into something that Jerry's delighted with. To see him being appreciative of who's, not me, but appreciative of who's willing to put their time into Jules. It's amazing how that lifts somebody.
Of course it does.
From
it shows you how much she was loved.
And Jerry.
And Jerry,
people
of course.
To support him as well, do you know what I mean? And Chris. And look, at the end of the day, you can't do everything for charity. You try and help. We constantly get phoned for raffle prizes and stuff like that. And if you can help, you'll help.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to put your stamp on something at some point and go, right, do you know what? I'd love to accommodate everybody. Right? Yeah. And I know I'm talking piss right now because anybody comes to me,
you've still do something.
You've done something. You would love to accommodate.
Of course you do.
That's going to take me back to my business partner just now. Because Mag's got heart cold.
Yeah.
And she'll do anything for anybody. And I've seen me sometimes shake my head. So I mean, I think I'm mad.
She's worse.
For the finer things.
Yes.
But make sure somebody's got food in their cupboard.
Yes.
Make sure there's hot soup there for them. Get them to hospital when they've got appointments. Do you know what I mean? So don't, do you know that in many ways, I admire her for what she does. But that's her life. Her pub's her life. And her partners are her life.
Of course.
And
family.
Well, that's
regulars are family in the pub.
I've been on the phone about it. I'm taking so to the hospital. He's got an appointment, and I've got to go back and he's got an appointment. I'm like, Jesus. You know? Brilliant. And she got an award a few years ago, a couple of years ago. Don't ask me an award, but some place it was like personal community.
These people should be shown up for who they are and what they do.
And she doesn't.
And she doesn't want anything for it.
And we're sitting talking, because we have to meet at certain times, and it's not always in here, somebody's in the park. And sit and talk, she sit and talk to somebody, and an old guy walked by, hey, have you moved in that house yet? Aye, have you got stuff for your food? Aye, well, I'm going to go out. But that is the making of her. And so we're similar in respects that we don't like to see people down on the luck.
Struggling.
Yeah. Struggling. If we can help, we'll help. I give you my last. Sometimes that's a problem in my own household, because I've got something my last. And you know, when I'm through my dark time story, when I'm through the bleak period, my God, did I lose people I didn't think I would lose. But I tell you what, that opened my eyes big style. So the closest people to you sometimes are the ones that are the furthest away from you. And they're only there to for a reason.
And vice versa. Sometimes when you're darkest place, it's the person you least expect is the one that's got your back.
100%.
Totally.
And so, for me, you just go on with life, take whatever throws at you, because you're all going to be throwing curveballs. Take whatever throws at you, deal with it. But try and clear it while it is smiling. Because
make the best of what you've got.
It's the only way to handle things. You know, but charity work, we do what we can. We do what we can. We're a small part of what goes on. But if we can, one of the funniest ones, Carol Forrest.
Yes.
Oh, that was, I can't look at Roy McClellan and that, and Eddie in the face.
It wasn't your face you were looking at.
No, it was, trust me. Carol Forrest, and people say, what was the charity? I said, listen, it wasn't a charity, it was fundraising. I think she's granddaughter, my granddaughter's got, I think it was Malawi, to help build houses, and they needed, it was a scout group, I think it was, or it was someone, if I'm wrong, something like that.
Carol, put comments on this post to tell us what it was actually for. But
and she was raising funds, because I had to, it's a sad indictment of life in this country, right? You've got to raise your own money to go and do this. You know, there's no mechanism somebody pay for you to go. So she had to raise the funds, so Carol wanted to do a ladies' night in here, and you need to date you, and I'm going, no.
I'm glad I missed it in this one.
So, and I've got beer bum butlers. I'm saying, Jesus, I'm going to look at a place there. Right?
The only man in the place with clays on.
No, I was just thinking, that's fucking amazing. All muscly and that kind of place. Well done, thank God I'm not. And then she told me who it was that was doing it. And I couldn't stop laughing. Do you know, it was like Roy and Eddie and a couple of other young boys there done it. So, sold it. And it was like, and I was DJing, but I wanted 80s music and that, so I was DJing. I walked in and told me, what a sight.
I only seen the photographs and that.
Well, Jesus, there they are, right? Now, paint a picture. A guy's walking into a room, seeing 5 or 6 pair of arses, right? With an apron on, right? Now, the humorous thing I found about all this, right? And I slagged them on it. Bare bum bottles, but obviously they weren't. They put on underwear of some sort, right? So you get men's thongs.
Yes.
You know, so I would have half expected them all to go and buy men's thongs. No. Roy had a pair of Lynn's lacy short knickers on. And Eddie had Carol's thong on, right? What do you call them? Karen's. That's terrible.
That's terrible, isn't it? The two are the same.
These sausages never know.
Did they? Oh, brilliant.
It was hilarious.
Brilliant.
It was hilarious. And they all had women's knickers on. And I went to everyone and said, you do know you get boys versions of thongs. Or is this just something?
Is this just something you like to tell us
You
about?
like doing it. But honestly, what a night it was hilarious.
I've heard great things.
It was hilarious. And she raised more than enough to send her.
Brilliant.
And so Carol being Carol's going to put something out to somebody else's fund. So I want to have another one. Carol, she was steaming. Didn't the half was a riot. She was screaming.
Brilliant.
But we raised a bit of money there. So yeah,
There's been a few great nights, hasn't there?
there's been a few great nights, mate.
And many more to come. Some fantastic.
Well, we're hoping so. I mean, we've kind of fell away a little bit in terms of doing all or nothing and things like that. But you know, you go and talk about. You can't talk about music and not talk about vinyl collections and things like that. I mean,
I'm going to come on to that in a wee minute. But RocknRollas is moving on. You've got some fantastic gigs coming up. But away people, we've mentioned a few of them.
Yeah.
And some we can't mention yet, but watch this space because this cracker's coming. The other night, you kept sending people to me when I was DJing. Kept coming up going, when's your kids coming back? When's your kids coming back? I will say on this stage we will be back as soon as we can. Right? So that's that one into me. But I'm really looking forward to where RocknRollas is going and the venue as a whole. I believe there's going to be amazing things happening.
Do you know, you can't come as far as you came and stop.
No.
Yeah, you've got to keep moving. Yeah, you can get to the aesthetically having everything finished. But you've got to try and adapt and provide entertainment for the broad range of people, from families, kids, things like that, you know, because it isn't all about people coming in here drinking and watching a band. It's about the space downstairs and upstairs being used for. I mean, we can do a lot of private parties, and we like private parties because you're guaranteed people coming. And we do a lot of the we've had inquiries, but I'll call them micro weddings. So if you want to, 60 or 70 people you want to come, great. We can facilitate that with plenty of room. You know what I mean? And what a place to get married in, or to have your wedding in. But Madge's got something, probably, I'm not out of line saying this, but I'm up for that. I think it's right. It's like having a Thursday afternoon for the pensioners. So, when I'm at tea and a dance, you know what I mean? And do you know what? I can't, it's not going to be me, it's going to control that because I'm going to be, I'm not going to do it during the day. But yeah, that's the community spirit she's got, so yeah.
That sounds like great.
Watch the space, get your mums and that, I'm not doing anything retired, get them along.
I think there's so many things you can do in this place.
Well,
so many things.
We've got a Kelly booked, right? And a private party Kelly. And they came and seen the venue, and I thought, I don't know if it's big enough for Kelly. But they deemed it big enough, so
there we go.
Got that booked, but it's private.
Brilliant.
Then we're getting asked what we're doing in New Year and things like that again. I've got to be honest, you know what? I don't want to do anything in New Year. I'd like to spend it, because last year we didn't get to do anything. Spend it with the wife.
Yeah.
You know, kids. I've got friends, you know. But I'll end up with something on.
You probably will. You and I will be here at the bells.
Yeah, but something
will happen. Yeah. Whether it's you and I at the bells.
just me and you.
Aye.
It's a testament to the sort of family we've kind of developed here. That, you know, obviously you're part of it. You know, and to be fair, you've been part of it at the start, even when the boys were here. Maybe it was for me, but you're part of it. And, you know, people come in here as much and talk to you, you know, because you're here. And they know they're going to get a good DJ is going to play with what people want to hear. You know, so it doesn't matter if you're doing it, I'm doing it, Big Dib's doing it, whoever. We always pick the DJs, you know, we pick the DJs to make sure it fits the event. And you're always going to get some fucking assholes who are unhappy. Why do you not play that? Because I didn't.
Aye, carry on.
You know, I'm not the most diplomatic. But you know, the majority of the time we see people in here dancing, they love it. And you know, we've got one monthly Northern Soul night start, day start, where we're going to get that floor used before it should be, which is big. Which the signatures are coming.
Yep, another cracking gig that we're looking forward to. And again, for the Teenage Cancer Trust.
Yeah, I don't care what people think about it. It's always for charity. Look, it's not always for charity.
No.
I've got 52 weeks a year, possibly 200 gigs a year on. You're lucky 1% for charity.
Yeah.
Really, do you know what I mean? And charity it's all this country's charity. It's all people will get it. You know, but people wanted to do. I was asked, you know, I see the bungalows doing a UK charity. Why don't you do it? Because the bungalows did one. I've done anything on top. You know, if I do one, it's taken away from one. So get.
We've got things to do.
Sunday Ukraine charity.
Yeah.
So
go there.
Bands are playing. Get down. I mean, shout playing. Whenever there's no shout, that's what my pal. Lynn Graham, big shout out to my pal and Roy for the new band.
Have a great gig Saturday.
And tell you what, if you only go for one song to hear Lynn sing and shout, then that's all you need. Because the voice is absolutely phenomenal. So they're playing. They're desperate to go up here and play, and I'm desperate to have them. But, you know, they do Massive Noise on Saturday, and that's the first gig. Good luck to them. Up there. Good luck to them. Shouting them because it's enthusiasm they play with. I mean, fantastic musicians and things like that. But it's for the love of it. It's not for money. It should be. It's not for money or success. It's for love of it. They're doing it. I can't wait to see them play, to be honest with you. So there's millions on. There's millions on here. You know, all the time. And it's, there's always people say you're not posted anything. No, it's not. I post anything because of private party. I post when there's something on. You know, there's no point. The way we've got our PR department working. It's all scheduled now, so you know, and that's telling. I mean, you can't really. I mean, Saturday night was just it's amazing, wasn't it?
It was just it was phenomenal.
I was standing over there with the wife and a few Paul Rodgers and that, and when I looked up, we had loads of seats here. The wee old women and our pals dancing, and the full seats all clapping. The people were standing up dancing and waving, and I looked up the balcony, they're all. See, for me, that was heaven. That was me looking, going, do you know what? See if you'd went and seen that show at the concert hall, or the Armadillo, and these guys will fill that stage just the same. It was exactly the same show in here. It was phenomenal. They were outstanding, weren't they? And the DJ running about it was alright. The place sounds shite, but it was alright. That's the problem with DJs. We can to get them to fit the actual event. It's 10 times better. But they played me away. They were absolutely brilliant. Not with Frank and all there, but they were absolutely brilliant. And so professional. The first of many. Got a lot. You know, one and a couple of other ones. And, you know what I'm like sometimes. I go after something. Then I got a wee reminder. George Michael, Elton John, John Lennon. Well, we're doing the Dire Straits. Dire Straits. They're on this on Friday and John Lennon's on Saturday. The one I'm looking forward to is the Elton John on the Saturday during the day and People for Night. Right. That'll be tasteful to see how that will go. Because we're having a matinee with Elton John, right? For everybody comes down and buys a ticket, comes and watches. I mean, if you like Elton John, you got to love it. And then clear them out, get ready for People. He puts on a great show. Tickets are flying out for it. I still say to this day, don't complain because people go to watch Tribute Acts. I would never say that. And they don't want to go and watch original music. Well, you're maybe not out there enough, or your music's not of their origin. See, the funny thing is that was the age of the crowd. There was a lot of young people watching that Saturday. A lot of young people, and by God, they enjoy themselves. But I mean that. If I wasn't there was from 18 to 80. Exactly. And everything in between. If I wasn't reinvigorated, I certainly would have been after Saturday. Definitely. And you looked at what was capable here. And still knowing, because it was gaps, still knowing I could fit it another 100, 150 in, no problem. He says, okay, we know where we're going now. We'll refine some of the things that didn't quite work on the night. But the command stage sounds brilliant. Paul's going into that sound system. Dave's done brilliant. And I was watching him do his stuff. Yes, and I gave him a hard time. I offer no apologies for it. No. Right? Because I think giving him a hard time is... It's spurred them on. It's spurred them on. I've got a habit of doing that to people. I'll prove that. That's right. It's a way to do it. Brilliant. And he has. He has.
I'm saying nothing.
I've done it with you.
I'm saying nothing.
I'll get that sorted.
Aye.
So, yeah, Paul's done brilliant.
Yeah.
And as you know, I pride myself in door staff. Being hospitable and opening the door and all that. It's got to be old school the way I was taught. And Max pride to part of our staff. My staff, I don't even believe my staff. They are, I suppose, but Max's staff. And
For
Saturday,
the RocknRollas family.
on Saturday, they were under pressure.
Yep.
And they didn't melt.
No, they just kept going.
They kept going.
Yeah.
There's Jackie at the door, behind the bar, and Kimberly's in Diamonds, you know, she's going to, Kimberly's going to be the person that's going to be in charge of the bar. Because Mag's got to return at some point to the bar. And then we had Shelby, wee Chloe, and then Mag's son Ryan. I mean, the Diamonds, they all worked their asses off, yeah, it didn't please everybody, but we didn't get negative comments, just because, you know, I had that off, we admit to we got a couple of things wrong, but I won't have it again. But no, it's up and up. It's definitely.
Definitely has.
Got to keep it going on. Can't rest it.
No.
You can't rest at any point in this industry.
No.
You've
Got to keep going.
No matter.
Got to keep going. It's been brilliant chatting away. It's been great sitting up on this stage and not actually up to think about what song we're going to play next. Is the microphone working or whatever? It's been brilliant. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions just to finish off, just to get into your head a wee bit. Right. Top 3 acts you would have on this stage. If anything, alive, dead, whatever, bring folk back from the dead. If you could get 3 bands or artists from all time, who would they be?
Dead or living?
Dead or living, of all time.
Elvis over there.
Head of the show.
You did it. Elvis over
What Elvis though? Pre-army Elvis, 60s
No,
movie Elvis, or the 68 comeback?
It would probably be the
Vegas
ones.
Vegas Elvis.
Some of his best songs.
Aye.
Although I was brought up with his younger stuff, his movie and stuff like that, his career there. But probably Vegas Elvis, because some of the songs he had were absolutely phenomenal. I'm torn a wee bit now because Simple Minds definitely play. Third one. Maybe the Hollies.
The Hollies, up to some gig.
Maybe the Hollies. Torn between them and Roy Orbison. But maybe the Hollies.
Yeah.
The Hollies, Elvis, and.
Chance I get them, there's still 2.
I know. Got to see them. It's been postponed for 2 years.
Well, I've done the same. I've got George Benson tickets that we've waited for 3 years to go and see.
We've seen them a few times.
Aye, good stuff. And one last question. Your house is on fire. Your wife, your 2 wings and your dog's out, but you've got 1 record to pick. 1 record to grab, to save. What one would you save?
Waterfront, Simple Minds.
Brilliant.
I'd probably say that. That's what got me. And
It's that bass, isn't it? It's the bass at the start.
That's what got me. I'd be Waterfront 80s. Or
your house is on fire!
I wouldn't even one of the main flag out. It's my vinyl.
The problem is you probably couldn't find that one anyway, you just have to grab one. You've never even touched on that amount of vinyl we've got. It's phenomenal.
I mean, many times you bought a vinyl, yes, that's me got a copy, then you go, I'm not going to do that.
Aye.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You know I'm famous for fucking accusing people of stealing my vinyl.
And then you find 4 of them.
If I'm just put doing something else. A wee confession to me, I thought somebody stole our mics at the last match
That's
it
right.
was, and I was cussing and folk at Copernic and then I opened the box.
In front of them.
They're right there, no. They were in it, I had to make a wee apology there. But no, it's been a great chat.
That's been good.
All night, but
good, mate.
I think you should let people know we plan to do this.
Aye, and hopefully we'll be able to take this going forward, get some other people in. Bob and I have a wee chat with other people in the music industry, cake baking, and just the people out there that's doing something different, arts and crafts, or people that's got an interesting story, just get them in, have a chat with them, and you never know, we might even open the doors and let us come in and watch it. You just never know how it's going to work, but this was a kind of start, a one-off, good to get inside your head. It's maybe not a good idea getting inside your head. We've only scratched the surface of getting inside this man's head, that's for sure, but there's a serve on you for a long time. There's a lot of things that folk don't know about you, and I think after tonight we'll know a lot more about you.
There's things you don't talk about in every relationship, but no, what this was about tonight, it was turned out a bit different. It was about music and where we wanted to go, but at the end of the day, it just shows you how much of a part music has to play in everything.
Yeah, and everything in your life. Yeah,
because I lost people during key times in my life, and music relates to them, each and every one of them.
Yeah,
each and every one. I mean, I had by the time I was 21, I'd lost 3 of my best friends. Do you know what I mean? Two suicide and one died. So I was 21. I'm 25, so before I was 25, I lost 3 of my best friends. 2 suicide and one died. And each and every one of them has a musical story. So I mean, and if music can't get you through something, I don't know what can.
It's to coin that phrase out of Quadrophenia, it's a way of life. It's a way of music. It's no. Some folks say it's like you either love or you hate music. And if you love music, it's there constantly. If you get up in the morning, so you go to your bed at night, there's something goes on music-wise in your head, or you hear a song, it takes you to a different place and all that. I mean, you've got somebody you can come in and enjoy it every week. It's
well, that's a good thing. You know what? Just to clarify a few things. That if you're going to come to Paisley, you're guaranteed a good night out somewhere.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I can't recommend one over the other.
No.
And people say, well, you must recommend your own venue. Of course I'm going to recommend my own venue. I've got proud of it. Listen, the work we've put into it before and the work we've put into it with Max, and where it's going to now and the action, of course I'm proud of it. But so will Tommy and Alan, so will Jen, and so will Jackie, and so on. They're all proud of their own venue. So,
and rightly so, because they've all worked hard to get where they are.
If I woke up one day and there was Facebook was full of every single place in Paisley, mob last night.
Brilliant. Good.
Now we know where we're going, guys. Now we know where we're going. You get people asking, do you talk to each other about type of action? No, we don't, because you can't. No. You can, let's be honest, to avoid any animosity, don't suggest that, because someone would break it, because we'd have to break it.
Yeah.
They need to fill the pub, or they need to fill the venue.
And take an example, you've got a Paul Weller tribute here, right? And a pub down the road has got a band that's got 6 songs for the jam and still counts from Paul Weller, and there's a guy playing his acoustic guitar in another pub, and 3 of his songs are Weller songs. How do you
You can't.
You can't do that.
I think when you look at, I know we're dragging on a bit, but what we through so I think when you look at each venue's itinerary, what will go on, you can find something you like. Yeah.
Yep.
Might not be here. Might be the Bungle. It might be Swan. It might be the Cave. It might be Kennedy's. It may be Ancabar or one of the other places. But you'll find something you like. The trick is, as a venue, to get you off your lazy ass to come out.
Yeah.
And watch it.
And look at it. Go and find it.
And see it. And just say to yourself, look guys, because lockdown, people built pubs in the back door.
Yep.
And that's why we were going about, my fear is we become an even more reclusive society, because people are used to sitting out the back door. There's no interaction, now we're getting there, and we get people in and about, there's a bit more comfort, I suppose, people not scared, even though the cases are rising again, it's down there, it's not classed as COVID as such, the cases are rising, they're coming through the bug where we go up. You've got a town that is buzzing, You know, even the council are putting on events, Tommy. They had one that was lit up the Abbey.
I seen that. That was amazing.
So you know,
That was part of a national event, and they came to Paisley to start it.
no, Alan Jones was meant to sing. I think it was the Abbey. But I guess postponed. No, okay, people said, fucking Jones, but
I like him.
Do you know what I mean? For who he is, I think he's famous, everybody knows who he is, was playing. So Paisley is, if you can't see it, you don't have to go to Glasgow anymore.
No.
To enjoy a night out. You know, I'm not saying don't go to Glasgow because
there's a lot of great venues in Glasgow.
Some of the bands that we like play Glasgow. You know, but I'm not saying don't go to Glasgow. But if you want to look at it for different, if you want to look at entertainment on a Sunday or a Saturday Tuesday or a Saturday night where it's just like a bit of music, you've got plenty of bars that in Paisley that supply that, even down to the karaoke's. Right? If you wanted to, in times gone by, I suppose, if you wanted to hear a Sham 69, a big country or China Crisis, you know, you would have to go to Glasgow. But it's here on the doorstep now.
Yeah.
It's here on the doorstep.
Yeah.
Just check the venues out. You don't have to like one over the other.
No.
Just check the venues out and see what you've got. And stay in Paisley. Keep the money in Paisley, because every penny is in Paisley's half year. Tom in the music shop loves it now, because bands are coming and going and spending stuff over there. People are coming and going to re-look, right? The subway and the pizza shop, some of the people, including me in here, you know, they're doing a roaring trade. You know, so we're adding,
it's adding value to the West
the
End.
shop up the road, people are going up to get their fags and stuff. Everybody's benefiting from this place being here.
Yep.
Everywhere, because it's lifting the opinion of the area, and it's lifting the profile of Paisley. Sitting alongside the bungalow, sitting alongside CC's, sitting alongside the Swan and the Cave, they're all doing music, they've all got different things on, so you don't have to leave Paisley.
Yeah.
You've got the Mill magazine now, it's probably one of the best things happened to Paisley. It's now, you know, putting out issues with no agenda and putting everything on, you know. The word is getting out there. Word is getting out there. Are you going to get wee fannies? Of course you are.
Always.
So you get everyone. You know what I mean? We try and keep them out if they're wee fannies. Youngies are welcome in here.
Yeah.
But if they're wee fannies, are out. You know what I mean? But I know plenty of old fannies.
That's the problem. Young fannies become old fannies.
You put them out there, you know? So we do have a family atmosphere. We do have a welcoming attitude to things. But it's not false.
No.
It's natural to everybody that works here to be welcoming into that part. You know, I spend half the time slagging everybody comes in the door. You know, I just take the piss at everybody. And that's I love it. Because I know I'm not worrying about what's going on behind the bar. Because man's going to all sorted. Do you know what I mean? And that is the type of venue we're generated here. Is anybody can come here. Everybody's welcome. If you've not tried it, please give it a go. If it's not your cup of tea, then fair enough. You know, but you can. The world's full of people saying, "I don't like that." If you've been, no. How do you do that?
Exactly.
It's the same as other venue. If you've not been, don't say you don't like it. Give us a go. Give us a try. Look, there's bound to be something on that you like. The amount of stuff I've got on, and come on, pay us a visit. But anyway.
Cheers, Paul.
Thanks.
It's been great.